disappointment. Now the vice president often tell me, since he got a seat as vice president, how many persons have I recommended in this government to serve in the government as presidential appointee? Zero. Every appointment in Nimba County was done by him. He and I would discuss something as a brother. To implement it, you will bypass me and do different things. I don't talk on it.
Now you need to see us. The thing we saw, it frustrate us. So why can't you lie? Why can't you steal? Why can't you allow the citizens to be? You see, we just tell you that why we vote tell you. But you fool us, you screw us, you use us and later on abuse us. So why? The government should lie. Why? But that's the question that we ask.
The good person in our whole United Party that President Bouaka. You want to say that again? The only person that appreciate good among all the United Party for that President Bouaka. The rest are ungrateful. The right, they use you and dumb you. But President Bouaka, if all of them were thinking the President Bouaka and behaving the President Bouaka, United Party will have another chance in 2029. Just for now, they do not regard people that help them.
Of our soldiers were executed on this party ground. 2 at the back and 1 right at the headquarters. The man who shot and killed our people today is a darling boy in the Liberia National Police. They brought him back to shoot more guns. Get ready to shoot. Because we challenge the status quo appropriately.
Inform them in the violence or still any student because of their action. It will be the day the entire Brothers administration will cut down. We will massively violate the students in this country and will shut down the Brothers administration. The day that happens, we have the capability to do so. And if they think this renovation project is a joke, let them try it. The fall of the Brothers administration begin with this. If they think they will tumble on any student in this country or at the university like Boy and Water in infinity, while our children saving opponents and logic in the Western world, while we are subjected to agile power and bad learning conditions here, and the thing will say.
In the first 100 days, no car will get stuck on a major road in this country. And I mean it.
You say it out loud?
It's going down. First floor. There you have it.
That led to decades of war still run deep. But so too does the longing for reconciliation. A reconciliation defined not by political bargaining or by an artificial balance of power by tribe, region, religion, or ethnicity, but by the equality of opportunity and a better future for all Liberians.
Bouaka can lie. The government, all the ministers in the government, they can lie. Okay. They put all hustler, they put a hustler, they lie. Everything they say, they never say the truth.
Today, the supporters of His Excellency Joseph Bouaka presents him as a poor man from Lofa and aside that he will understand the plight of the poor people. Fellow Liberians, do not be fooled. Vice President Bouaka is not poor like you, not even as me. As Vice President, his office received more money from the government budget than any other Vice President has received in Liberia's history. He has enjoyed some of the best and most lucrative government jobs.
First of all, there's this, what I call sort of vicious lie about the fact that Mr. Pewee is gay or bring gay lifestyle to Liberia. It's complete bullshit. When people can accuse you of stealing people's money, when they can accuse you of being involved in war, anything, people don't make up stuff. They don't make up shit. Excuse my language, right? So it's complete nonsense. I'm married, 8 Teresa, 2 children, 5 grandchildren. I believe in traditional family values, so it's complete bullshit, complete nonsense.
The young man, vice president, young man that are vice president, the major stole 500,000. I mean, Jamaica, the major went to, I forget that Jamaica, the majors went to Ghana, the fit, and they may bring it all company in the country. I mean, Kun Ninja can reach yourself. Kun man, you know, Kun, but I want to sophisticated, quiet, hardcore rule in Labro. But Labro,
when 2029 come and pass, then you finally leave. Mission is completed. Now, what the rules of engagement? When the war ended, the guy said, the captain, the commander said, mission complete. There wounded out first. All men on board.
Everywhere there is no school, I'll put school. And everywhere there is school and school in bad condition, I'll renovate it. I told them, towns and villages, everywhere you will have lights in a town for children to play and people to see. I told them, every town will have safe drinking water.
If Charles Taylor is the problem, he will be out of here in the twinkle of an eye. And I say, let well-meaning Liberians come home. If we respect this constitution, a government formed in Accra is a violation of Article 1 of the Constitution. Let them come home. Let that government be formed in Monrovia.
The government that capital Rosemont, Road, B Road, all kinds of the place. I think the reason Joseph Baga will not do much because the old man, the papa is suffering. The papa loves the country, but he can't make it. The criminal there around him, they sophisticated than him. They are sophisticated criminals, so they can't make it.
Your league Costa, God know how to pay people. It's just simple. Costa that accused everybody but himself. Everybody, Joe, we join, we kill Joe, he killed Joseph Boaga. Boaga still living. Joe, no, you leave better. He made me senator. He almost made Joseph Boaga president until he screwed up. We gave God the glory. Yeah. Well, Boaga, when he screwed, he said, oh, we don't want to make sure we fought for him to be reconciled with the president. And then the people who fought for him. Look, yearly Costa, you come. And Costa was in a podcast, he said, they don't been calling me. Okay. The time you were calling me for me to carry the president, Boaga, did I put it on radio? That immaturity to do what you're talking about.
And I guarantee you, when we finish, there will not be a winner or the loser. Today, we all wear the jersey of Liberia. And the victory belongs to the people, to the peace, and to our democracy. As we begin to build upon the foundation of this new Liberia, I, George Seleke Kromah, the new president, will first give thanks and praises to the Almighty God for the blessing He has bestowed upon our country. And I say, my people, thank you,
We elect on 85 irresponsible men what happened to our country. We elect on 85 irresponsible men to govern this country, not to be very irresponsible.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I had to go and change my shirt. Obviously, there are certain colors I just won't cooperate with StreamYard. I don't want to look like a brick wall. So I had to run and change my shirt. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Friday edition of The Closing Argument. I want to welcome you. I am Jerome Gayman. I will be your host as always. We're going to be discussing issues affecting you, myself, our nation, and everything else around. Let me welcome some of our friends. Make sure you share the show, get involved, talk to us through our comment section. Let me say hello to all of our friends that are tuning in. Let us know where you're tuning in from so we can send a shout out to those folks in those beautiful neighborhoods in Liberia and around the world. And to my folks in Grand Bassa County, I say, welcome to the show. Share the show. Make your comment. Let us know where you're calling on from. Joanne Tolo. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your name. Good evening, TCA. You are late. Yes. Watching from Monrovia. Thank you very much. I wish you told me where part of Monrovia you're watching from. Hopefully you are watching from our beautiful city and town or borough, wherever you call it, Tingle Village. If you are not in Tingle Village, you are not in Liberia. That's what I say. Clarence Pearson, long time, Chief. Thank you for joining us and welcome to the show. We look forward to the debate. Flex Electronic 4769, thank you for tuning in. Let me go to Joseph Mali Walakade. That's my homeboy there. He says, good evening, TC. I am calling all the way from the East Coast. Well, the East Coast could be beautiful Miami. It could be Philadelphia. So let us know where you are calling. Asatu Dawson. Asata O Dawson. Where are you tuning in from? Hopefully you are not from Kepamas. The Dawsons are from Maryland County in the great city of Cape Palmas. Yes, you all are tuning in. We want to send a shout out to all of our folks, wherever you are tuning in from. Let's give the guys some credit for tuning in every day. Okay, Bodolo Jr., the manager of Patawee, is stealing from the people's children. $5 US per student. Come on now. Listen. The owner of Patawee is doing the best she can to keep the place clean, pay her staff, maintain the place, keep it going in the absence of sponsorship from the government and everything. So I don't think that's stealing. That's reasonable, $5 per child. Times are tough, we understand. But remember, to keep a beautiful place like the Patawee Fort carries a lot of weight financially, and it has to be paid for. So she's raising a little money, and it's educational for the kids. So $5 is not, won't break your bank. Daniel Sherry, Lofa County correspondent for the closing argument. General D. Daniel D. Sherry is following from Vanjima City. Vanjima, way out there. Wow. Paul Deba, live from Magibby. All right. Thank you very much for tuning in. Edwin Saki, congratulations. But from where? We have no clue. He says he's following. We encourage you to let us know where you are tuning in from so we can give a shout out to those folks in the different counties, the different cities. And Friday is, as usual, our day of education. It will be free flowing. But we are going to do that. It's like a whole weekend review. We are going to go back from Monday through today, and then you're going to get involved. There are some stories that we may have missed. Before press time, when we make up our agenda, there are a lot of stuff that happen behind the scene. If something happening to you in your neighborhood that is newsworthy, put in the comment section and I will go to it as breaking news. Obviously, it has to be factual. No G's involved. There's no gossiping. It will not be personal. And if you use any kind of terminology that is not academic or civilized, we'll delete you, and then we'll ban you. You know, when we were growing up, you know what the old folk used to say, right? High head may soft butt, or may soft behind. I mean, if you don't learn, you will learn the hard way. They will flunk you, give you 25 latches on your behind. I don't know if they're still doing that, but it sure kept us in line. So we are here to discuss the week. There's a lot going on in Liberia. I'm telling you, sometimes you want to come out here and just have fun. Then the news just keep coming and coming and coming and coming. So we are going to be talking about some of those issues. And when we're talking about being hard-headed, a little over a year ago, we were in Miami. I mean, Fort Lauderdale. I covered the arrest, the trial, and subsequent sentencing of Stanton Watterson for fraud. And that made a headline all over the world because one group of people have decided to defraud the United States government and its citizens, putting the United States healthcare system at risk with all these fake high school, nursing certificates. There are people who went to these schools, took the exam and passed, and all the licenses were revoked because they were obtained on a fraudulent means. If you have gone to the hospital here now at a time, and again, we are about to go into this story. It is a scary, 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 scary situation. If you are in a hospital, you are not sure whether the nurse that is coming to do your IV is qualified. Whether your phlebotomist is good enough to take your blood, to draw your blood without pain. These are issues the American government takes seriously. So one of our nurses on staff here, Ms. Sarah Dopoh, flagged one of the trending issues. And it reads, a Maryland man, 55-year-old Patrick Nyenwolo of Laurel, Maryland, was sentenced to 21 months in federal prison for running a major nursing credential scam, just like Stanton Watterson. He sold fake nursing diplomas and transcripts to people trying to break into the healthcare in these United States, helping them obtain fraudulent licenses. Nyenwolo charged $17,000 for fake RN degrees and $6,000 to $10,000 for LPN's credentials. Also, coaching buyers on how to fake the license exam applications. The scheme, which operated from 2018 to 2021, caused over $1.5 million in losses and put patients at risk by letting unqualified people land healthcare jobs. One co-conspirator received 13 months in prison. Nyenwolo pleaded guilty to wire fraud and will serve his sentence followed by 2 years of supervised release. I think I've seen this movie before. I have seen this movie before. You sell all these fake diplomas, $17,000 per. from 2018, when the federal government began to surveillance. But who knows how long he has been doing this before he got caught in 2018? By 2021, the federal government has approached him, and when they provided the evidence, he pled guilty, just as Stanton Weatherspoon did. At first, he pled not guilty. He's going to stand his ground. He didn't do it. He's not guilty. Blah, 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 blah. I was in the courtroom when the judge says, what is it that the FBI has against Stanton Weatherspoon? And the director of the FBI Southern Bureau in Miami approached the judge and pulled out of his portfolio a file this thick of transcript, telephone messages, wire deposit, wire transfer, money being dispensed, home purchases, real estate deals. When Stanton and his lawyer looked at the evidence, and then the FBI said not only that, but in 2018, we blocked, seized every account, all bank accounts associated with Weatherspoon and his businesses, all were seized by the FBI. So we know how much money went through these accounts. We know where they are. We know how much, and we have seized them all. And Stanton Weatherspoon looked at the evidence and said, I am guilty. And the judge asked him, you are changing your plea from not guilty to guilty. Are you doing this under duress or your own volition? He said, I am willingly. Under no duress, changing my plea from not guilty to guilty. The judge said, you understand the consequences of your plea. By pleading guilty to these crimes, you are forfeiting all of these rights. The right to vote, the right to run for office, your right to carry firearms. All of these things, basically your civil rights. He said yes. And the judge said, please, can you turn in your passport? You are not allowed to leave these United States for the next 4 years. I am saying this to say what the old folks used to say, a hard-headed boy makes a sore behind or the soft ass. And remember that most of the crime we are talking about were also committed in New Jersey and in the Maryland area, Delaware, Maryland, that area. And this is where this Nigerian guy did the same thing, the exact thing. "55 years old, selling fake diplomas to nurses LPNs, RNs, $17,000 per fake diploma, fake transcript, and fake licenses. Talk you, coach you as to how you can make the fake license look real. You think we have a problem in these United States where they can catch these guys? Just imagine how many of these folks are walking around in Liberia doing surgery. They are nurses, they are doctors, they are phlebotomists. And the Nigerian guy took a page out of Stanton Waterspoon book. So all of these diplomas, we don't know how many folks he got that he killed in the process. Now that I'm going back, thinking about this thing, 2 years ago, I went to do my annual physical and they sent me to Quest, one of the largest clinics. I went to do my blood work where they draw your blood and then process it and send everything to your doctor. And this phlebotomist, this lady that was doing my blood work, she just couldn't find, she said she couldn't find my vein. And this woman just kept pricking me. It was so painful, she kept doing it. And I told her I was leaving. Oh, I needed another phlebotomist. Now I'm thinking in retrospect, and I'm saying that woman could have been one of those Stanton Waterspoon graduates. And the other nurse came, she said, okay, I see, a lot of, she have, done, they're looking for your vein. So what I'm just going to do is, she said, I can see your vein right here on your arm, and I'm just going to, do here instead of doing what she have done. And right on my arm, she just used a small needle, and she did what she had to do. But I had to go through that pain. This woman stuck me 4 different times. Just imagine, in America, they will catch you. How many of these people are walking around working at JFK, where people are dying in the numbers? So much so that they have changed the name in Liberia from JFK. Is no longer John F. Kennedy. Now they say just for killing. Everybody in Liberia you talk to has a story about JFK. And then on our show, you heard a gentleman who says the best of kids, if you won, JFK has it. But it is also called pay to play. In this case, pay to live, because he says, I think he says on the 4th floor, where they had their private suites. You can get the best of care on the 4th floor. I want to believe, I stand to be corrected. And everyone else, like the former president Myean used to say, leave your own with God. You are on your own. People are dying in the parking lot. in the waiting line on the floor. These are the folks we are talking about. For those of you who have some pity for these folks, there's something intrinsically wrong with you. You owe your loyalty to an individual and not to your fellow man, or not to the nation, or not to humanity. This Maryland man, this Nigerian Patrick Nwoku, accepted, pled to go to jail for 21 months, and whatever the federal government did not seize remains with him. Most likely in Nigeria somewhere, when he leaves prison 2 years from now, he will disappear. Doesn't care how many folks he killed. He will be living like a fat cat in Nigeria, or use that money to go in other countries to create a mayhem. These are the folks we are talking about. It's not everything that glitters is gold. This is why we continue to say, do not come in my office looking for a job because you got diplomas after diploma, you got master, 3 master's degree, 4 master's degree. No. I want to know what is the corresponding experience that you have. What is the background check? What is the testimonial? Where can I go to tell that, yes, these degrees are worth the paper it is written on? Let me welcome Fanta. Fanta, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gayman. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes. I like the new look. Look like you're about to fly. Welcome to the Friday edition. But I'm pissed.
Yeah, I can tell, man.
I went to the hospital, like I said, 2 years ago for my medical checkup, and this girl treated me so badly. My arm was swollen because she said she couldn't find a vein in my arm, and she just kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Finally, I called for help, and another lady came, and she said, "I'm sorry, but do your hand like this." I did my hand. She said, "Oh, you got a vein right here." She took a small needle, and in 5 minutes, I was done.
Yeah.
So I began to say that might be one of Stanton Weatherspoon graduate that was pricking me. So every time I see Stanton Weatherspoon, I get upset. Setting fake diplomas. So now here we are today. A Maryland man, 55-year-old Patrick Nwoku, a Nigerian in Laurel, Maryland, was sentenced for 21 months in federal prison for running a major nursing credential scam. He sold fake nursing diplomas, fake transcripts to people trying to break into the healthcare industry. He helped obtain fraudulent licenses. He charges $17,000 per fake diploma until he was caught. He was under FBI surveillance for almost 4 years. This is what we are facing. Just imagine the United States has a system that can catch these kinds of folks. In the Republic of Liberia, where we are on our own, just imagine we are living at the mercy of God. These people are everywhere. How many Liberians went to Stanton Weatherspoon School and got fake diplomas all over the place? Now they are running around in Liberia, pricking people like they did me. Yep. I have a cousin that died at JFK. He said he had a stroke. They took him there and they began to give him blood transfusion. And all of a sudden, there's blood coming from everywhere part of his body. Nobody could remedy it. Finally, I called my doctor here. He said, without looking at your brother and looking at the chart, the only thing I can say, most likely they gave him the wrong blood type. These are the folks. Your turn, Fanta. I gotta cool down because this is personal, And innocent people in Liberia are dying. I don't know how many people Stanton Weatherspoon killed in this country, and I don't know how many this man killed, but it's the same playbook. Do as much harm as you can, go to court, throw yourself at the mercy of the judge, plead guilty. They take some from you, wherever left, you flee, and you spend your time, and you go to Liberia. That's what they are doing. He's going to go to Nigeria, and most likely maybe find another place. It's like osmosis. Their water will find they will find space wherever it is. They will go there. This is why these people will say Liberia is a virgin land. This is where we need to go. And now the Nigerians are coming in the boatloads in Liberia in every field. They are preachers, they are bishops, they are imams, they are doctors, they are teachers, they are gold miners. You name it, they're doing it because we are who we are. Thank you for coming to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Gayman. It is quite unfortunate. It is, I think, beyond unfortunate, it is disheartening, especially when you can recount so many experiences, especially so many personal experiences, family members who have been victims of these nefarious activities. Whether it's the Stanton Witherspoons of the world or this Nigerian man, the fact that a human being can just conclude on such a demonic event to say, I'm going to establish this entity, knowing very well that they do not possess the right credentials to set up such institution, but they do it with that knowledge and then pretend later on as if to say, oh, I had no forethought. It is, I don't know, I don't think we will find the right adjective to associate. There's so many entities here to blame. Yes, you have the individuals who set up these businesses, but you also have our court systems. How is it that it is okay that this person have probably literally killed tens or hundreds of people through offering these fake services, but yet you cannot provide justice for the victims or their families? You allow them to pay pennies and then give them a slap on the wrist. I mean, at what point do we really move away from this pay-to-play system? And more, or increasingly, we're finding ourselves in a situation where that is becoming the reality, or that is becoming the norm. Whether it's in Liberia or it's in the US, because as you know, he is in the US. He's like, for the sentence of the world, I believe he's under house arrest. He was supposed to serve a 41-month prison term and had to pay $3.5 million, which I think heard that he paid on the spot, but then has not seen like any prison sentence. And so this Nigerian guy is just going to be the same thing. And he may not even go to prison for those 21 months. It might be a similar case with Stanton again. But the very fact that the fact that they can even make such a deal with him, keep everything you have and then go serve like 21 months, and that justifies the lives that have been lost. So I guess the question becomes then, like, who do we blame for enabling these people? Right? Like, who do we look to if the justice system, the international justice system, is also pay for play? Where do we go for justice? Where do the victims go for justice? We're back to just leave your own with God. But it is horrendous. It is horrendous that these people, of all the businesses that you can come up with, you decide to create fake entities and hand out very, I wouldn't even say crucial degree. You exploit people because you know that there is a demand for healthcare practitioners, And so you award these fake diplomas knowing that these people are going to, like, the lives of the people who go to seek medical care are in the hands of these healthcare practitioners. Knowing that you're not equipping them to serve in those capacities, that more than likely 9 out of 10 of their patients, if God is not with them, they're going to be dead. Do not have a care in the world about that. You have a special place in hell. Certainly.
Yep. Join whatever's on your mind. Let us know. Today's Friday. There's no hold bar. Don't hold it back. Put it in the comment section, or you can make the call and we'll bring it on. We got no fear, no favor for anybody. If you got something you want to talk about, it's on your mind, let us know. Whatever's on your mind, where is the place you might take about for children location? I don't know what that means, but you can call. We will pick your call, and we'll go from there. Let me say hi to Jai Eddie. We district is well represented here by the son of Season, Glen Bassa County. Eddie Jai, thank you very much for tuning in. Say hi to everybody in that district. When I come, I will come through and look for you. Let me see. Pella Orito Red, thank you very much. She's watching. I don't know where she's watching from, but wherever you are watching from, that's fine. Oh, the Bodio.
Yeah, I do carry a Bodio tattoo also. You know, I'm from a traditional family. So if you were to go back to my middle name, it got a lot of reason behind it. So yes, if I were to be in the interior, I would have been, the tattoo Seleke Kromah is carrying, I would have been one of those. Yeah, so actually, I'm from a traditional Zo and Bodio family.
Good. Thank you very much. Orito, you say you call him from York, PA. I love York. York's a beautiful, beautiful city. Thank you very much for tuning in. Listen, there's a lot we need to cover. We're going to do the best we can. There was some breaking news in Liberia today. I don't know if you all saw it. If you saw it, I don't know if you look at it. It says here, May 1, 2026, as Environmental Protection Agency to release report on little fish die off near B Mountain. Mine expert warned of long-term contamination. And it says here, dead fish discovered along the Marvel Creek in Grand Cape Mount County. Cyanide contamination first struck the Marfa River 2022. 4 years later, a second spill has again been traced to the B Mountain gold mine concession, but unusual chemical has raised suspicion on toxic. And the toxin that some people blame was planted intentionally to maybe drive the people out of the area.
Yep.
It says here the Environmental Protection Agencies have promised to report by this weekend as residents report chronic illnesses, dead crops, and collapsed fishing and farming economies. Experts warn groundwater and soil may now be contaminated for years. Grand Cape Mount County, one June evening in 2022, Patterson King waded into the Marfa River as he always did, casting his net into the water that has sustained his family for food over the years and his income, and forced to send his children to school. By morning, the fisherman catch looked strange, too stale, too heavy, but hunger did not even leave room for suspicion. Though his wife refused to eat the fish, King cooked it anyway in a pepper soup and ate it all by himself. He soon regretted it. 3 months. My stomach is hurting, running, he said in the recent interview here. 3 months. Can you just imagine man's stomach running for 3 consecutive months? That morning marked the beginning of a slow disaster for dozens of communities along the Marfa River and its tributaries here in the northwestern part of Liberia. The Environmental Protection Agency found that pollution killed fish and other aquatic life by scooping oxygen out of the water. Tests detected a high level of cyanide, a toxic chemical that suffocates aquatic life and can seriously harm people who drink contaminated water. The agency says several factors may have played a role, but it traced the pollutant to the facility of the Beer Mountain, a gold mining concession owned by the Resources, which is linked to MNG Group of Turkey that has been operating since 2016. Honorable, we have Victoria. People dig well, look at their wells. It makes no difference how deep is the well. Is the aqua system in the mountain that has been contaminated. The children, look at the children, look at their backs. Children in that area.
What is that article, Mr. Gayman?
It's in Front Page Africa. You go to Front Page Africa, it is one of the leading stories there. So, Honorable Pewee, this is serious. Can you imagine the entire aqua life? And I mean, when you look at these children, look at their skin from drinking this water.
Yeah, it's actually troubling, and there's a need for some very quick intervention. If the reports coming out of that fresh report that the water being polluted, fishes are being killed, and most importantly, if children lives are in the pathway of those kind of disruptions, it's important that the government expeditiously do some intervention. So it's a very critical thing. We will hope that we even call some attention, because this is about calling particularly those that are representing the best folks that can rapidly and expeditiously do some intervention here, or cause some reasonable noise, or try to approach it from the perspective of government, so that some intervention can come very soon, would be those that are representing the particular area affected, the affected area. So the lawmakers, the senators can be reached. I will try to connect with Senator Dabla and see what is our own thought on this. Is there's a need to do some serious intervention, first and foremost involve the Ministry of Health, and then if it is not brought under control immediately, then the Ministry of Justice should also come in, because this is important, because we can have some outbreak of some serious epidemic from the consequence of that. So there's a need to what I will call trying to pose immediate investigation, some investigative issue will have to be launched with immediately, and get some facts, because it's about life, and it's about the welfare of the people of that area also. So sometimes these kind of things, if you were to see them, and it's actually concerning that the government were to, because there's no issue about other option now. The factor of optionality is not at hand now. The best thing is to save the community first and foremost, and move in and just conduct some serious investigations. And if it is the company that is doing this, and I want to believe 8 out of 10 would be the company, because the company that is engaging into this kind of exploration in that environment, then the company should immediately cease that and put some corrective measure in place. And part of the corrective measure would be to bring something in getting rid of the toxic waste, or those kind of pollution they've been doing. There's other chemicals, other mental that can be deployed to try to reduce significantly the threat level of the danger imposed on the people. And then we can now move to ensure that the EPA is going to move in, and the EPA is also have to move in and do some testing of the environment. And now we have to work along with the companies to put into place those safeguards, environmental safeguards that are needed to operate in these kind of areas. Because if you are operating in an area where you have folks inhabiting the land, you have to travel caution, and you need some level of scientific intervention in terms of the EPA coming to conduct. Because most of those chemicals that have been deployed, we have to be assessed and tested and see the threat level, the post to the environment, if you will. So I mean, it's just concerning, and I will hope that it's not about politics. It's serious. It's about human concern. So particularly kids, children are involved. So
the report I just read, all of these, the photograph that says here, courtesy the EPA. So the EPA on the side, you see them in the regalia. They're the one doing the report.
Yeah.
And they have suspected, based on the testing, that this is cyanide.
Yeah, and exactly that. And I will try. I'm trying to see if I can connect. I don't know if you want to talk to us. The director of safety and other thing, one of them, very lead investigator. He's somebody that I believe that is very transparent. But I don't know if you want to be on the radio. But if not, or on air whatsoever. If not, I will call to get some personal information from him also, his side of what is happening. But it is concerning on a serious note that these environmental concerns. Listen, Mr. Gayman, anybody can be affected from those things. We may even come from here blindly and visit something you don't know. You encounter some of these things, right? So anything about the environment that poses some health threat to the inhabitants of the land is concerning. And I thought the EPA should be heavily involved, and the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare also should get involved. If not, then if it is reaching a level that cannot be mitigated through this intervention of these government institutions, then we now have to bring the Justice Ministry for some prosecution. But for first and foremost, the EPA and that of the Health Ministry ought to be resolved. Try to bring the matter to cease. Stop everything that is doing. If it is cyanide being used to pollute those areas, discontinue immediately, and then try to seek the curative measure that can be necessarily deployed. And I will hope that they will take some time to do that.
Excellent. Fanta, let me show you the photo of this guy, Oman Peter King. This guy is 50 years old. 50 years old. Since he ate that fish in the water for 3 months. Is that how the 50-year-old man looks? This guy looks 101.
Yeah. When you're in Cape Mount, that's how a 50-year-old man look. And look, I think there comes a point in time where we have to go beyond the bureaucracies and really, if the government cannot guarantee our welfare and continue to support those who poison us and poison our people, we have to go beyond talking and just engage in them. I think recently, when since I became very vocal about this, I think last week you mentioned that both Senator Vaba and Timmy Diller had come out and said that, they were going to work on this issue and see how they can resolve it, when the very same Taylor is the one who chaired the renewal of the MDA for B Mountain back in 2023. So understanding that route is not going to derive any type of sensible output. And then also we talk about the EPA. The EPA to date has documented 4 large, like the ones that they have documented, right? And I'm sure there's been many that they have not put pen to paper on. The 4 that they have documented The fine B Mountain $99,000, right? $99,000. This was back in 1 second. This was back in 2018. They fined them $99,000, and guess how much that fine was reduced to? They reduced that fine after negotiations with B Mountain to $25,000. Was that fine even? Was that $25,000 even paid? What is the worth of what is the cost of a life of a Cape Mountainean? Is it $25,000? Is that how cheap our government is selling us now? $25,000? Look, B Mountain understands that what they're doing is not just environmentally wrong, but they're actually committing a crime against our people. They're killing our people. Let's just put it explicitly. When the Associated Press and the Gecko Project, again, did their investigation here, not only did they confirm that they are poisoning like the river, they also spoke with companies, independent auditors, environmental auditors, who warned when Ellen first went to sign this MDA, they warned her not to do it. That until the environmental concerns were addressed, she should not proceed into the renewal of the B Mountain contract when they were taken over from the British company. There were 3 international companies. I believe 1 Canadian company, like one from the US and 1 from Europe. When B Mountain realized this, let's say she proceeded to renew their MDA. As they were moving on with operations, they realized what they were doing was so toxic. They pulled out of the international monitoring body. Okay, so that they cannot be held liable. The head of that organization is on record for saying this was the first time he experienced an entity that is supposed to be in adherence pulling out because they do not want to be held accountable for anything because they know that they can get away with it in Liberia. And so when we see time after time, B Mountain has been in existence now in Liberia for almost 2 decades. This is not a company that was just here yesterday. Several presidents from Ellen to Wea and now Bweka is doubling down on the abuse to our people. And then we cannot sit there and rely on the legislative or the House of Senate to make any type of ratifications when they were the ones who renewed this MDA in the first place. The EPA is not short of evidence. The EPA has all the evidence they need. And at one point, when the AP was doing their investigation, they could no longer track the documented reports from the EPA. Because when Bweka came into power, someone mandated that they remove those reports from the EPA website. It is in the AP report that the EPA was told to remove the documented spills, the toxic spills from their website. It was after further back and forth that even the AP and the Gecko Project was able to access that report. So there is a deliberate effort here to continue to poison our people for chump change. And then the audacity to have the vice president sit there and when you talk about solving our electricity problem, he wants to go back to he's going back to the very same companies. He's going back to B Mountain to have B Mountain give them $1 billion to solve our electricity problems, completely ignoring the environmental and human crimes that are happening right now. How do you do this to your people? To fly in B Mountain private jet? So B Mountain can give you like a few $1 million as your gut continue to grow and engage in the access of the people's wealth? So you are waiting to trade your people, the life of your people, the sanity of your people, the welfare of your people for a few chump change. This goes beyond Liberia at this point. We need to exert international pressure. We need to exert the entities that buy these gold from or the gold and resources from B Mountain. They supply their gold to a company in Switzerland. It's called MKS. That's where the gold goes to get refined. and then it makes it into the international market. So your Apple, Disney, NVIDIA are all consuming gold directly produced by B Mountain in Liberia. All of these companies need to be held liable. It's beyond the Liberian government. The Liberian government is useless at this point. They're useless because these reports have been documented. I think the first spill, if I'm not mistaken, happened in like 2016. That's when the first, 2016 was the, and this is from the EPA report, was when the EPA first noticed. It doesn't mean that's when the spills actually happened, but when the EPA first report is 2016. We're in 2026. You know how many people have died in Cape Mount? You know how many people have died by just being exposed to that region? It's time to do something. And that's why when people want to push back on Cassell, like for saying it, like if it takes him his life to fight this LFA case, he's definitely going to do it. That's the same type of energy we need to have with all of these entities. What are they going to do? Kill all of us? We have to be willing, just as they are willing to put their lives on the line to steal from us and to kill us. We have to be willing to put our lives on the line to fight for our people. And I'm absolutely willing to do that. The Senate and the legislature will not do it because they have already been bribed by B Mountain. Simeon Taylor, the current senator of Grand Cape Mount County, has been bribed by B Mountain. I can't say the same for like Vapla. Yeah, even the representatives are being bribed by B Mountain. The Western Sunnis of the world, the Mohammed Dosis. Oh, they are taking bribes from B Mountain. And these are the people you expect to like solve this problem? What type of ramifications are going to result from an engagement with the House of Representatives when they're in the pockets of the very mining companies? Are we just like saying that like for the sake of saying it? But look, at the end of the day, just as a check in the box exercise, I do plan to send a letter to the Senate Pro Tem, just as a check-a-box exercise, because we're going to continue to exert international pressure. This is ridiculous. This crime against our people has to come to an end. We can't just continue to abuse the marginalized and impoverished in this country because we feel like, oh, they are powerless. We have to stand up, and the time is now.
Yeah. Let me go to Honorable Pewee. Pewee here. This is funny. They said the Environmental Protection Agency is back on the scene. In an interview with Emmanuel Yuri Yakwawolo, Executive Director of the agency, confirmed much of what the communities along the rivers are saying, but with an important caveat. He said the creek flows into the Mafa River. He said the agency had traced the contamination to B Mountain concession area. But then he said, but on the flip side, I have not formally concluded that the company did it. So I think Pewee, you from Lofa, you the one did it. You as a single man, he said he traced the chemical, the cyanide, to B Mountain, but he never caught them personally doing it, so he can't charge them. What is this?
So we ought to go back again to see the form of that, because what I'm learning is that they believe from now, from the level of investigation, that the company is behind this, but until those experts assigned there can conclude the investigation, I thought, because Dr. Ekpawo is kind of a very professional person, and he wouldn't want to come and nail someone from the basis of emotion, Mr. Gayman. And sometimes we ought to be a little mindful. I know
this is like I'm reading his own interview.
Let me conclude, please.
I'm
not going to be just sentimental. And listen.
No.
Don't do that. Like, what do you mean sentimental emotions?
I'm quoting him verbatim.
Exactly. There we go again. Sentimental, emotional. Like, really?
And he's not past sentimental. I'm saying I'm not going to be emotional. But back to you. It's not anything about saying I'm not going to be emotional.
Pewee
about this. Yes.
Pewee, the man said And yet they had traced the chemical to.
Let me hear you again on that. Go back on what you just said.
Yeah, he said the Environmental Protection Agency is back on the scene, right? In an interview, yeah, okay.
Sorry.
The director, Yure Yakpawolo, executive director of the agency, confirmed much of what the folks are saying, right? The community along the Mafa and the Marvel Creeks.
Yeah.
I said he confirmed everything they said, that the fish died and all that stuff. But with an important caveat, he said the creek flows into the Mafa River. Then he said the agency had traced the contamination to Bee Mountain concession, but had not formally concluded that the company caused it.
There you go. And you just helped me just now. That's why I take note. And that's what I'm saying. They are eventually going to link it to the conclusion as, and that's what I'm going to summarize. The report is going to come out and saying it is the company. But the reason why this guy didn't do that, he said they had not formally concluded, but he twisted already to them. Meaning, and that's how any professional individual doing the kind of investigation will say it. And he, as head of institution, he don't want to rush the conclusion for his guys that are conducting, that are carrying on the investigation. They are not formally. But trust me, the report, and that's what I'm saying, the report is going to come out linking the company to it. The report, all this, they're going to link them to it. But he won't come up now, outside of the investigative proceeding, to come and say, okay, it is the company. When the guys come from the field, give the report, the oil in the field, give the report, they're going to come. But here's what I'm saying. And this is the report we're hearing from most of the folks, even some of the folks on the EPA. If the report is out of EPA soon, indicting the company from this thing, there's a need for the government to move immediately. And the reason why I said, and we're going to need these people to have these things done, and Mr. Gayman, and the way the issue, the process unfold in terms of the bureaucracy, will need these people, some of these representatives, some of these senators, going to need them to push this. It is their people. No matter how we feel about them, it is their people. Because they're going to push. And if they push in, because it is in the legislature that you're going to see most of the weight. I agree that we really don't trust most of our lawmakers, but we got them. So in these cases, we have to engage them to have these things solved. No level of, if you don't engage them, you attack them and they sit back, the thing will persist. And that's the issue there. So most of these people, if you call them, they're going to move in the legislature, lobby of their colleagues to ensure that they invite these people and call on the necessary government institutions that are clearly the responsibility to have these sector as their sector areas. Like the EPA is already conducting her own role. What is the Ministry of Health doing also? So the Ministry of Health, the EPA, and the Ministry of Justice, particularly the Ministry of Justice, ought to now move and say to them, halt. The EPA going to give, after this report, they're going to tell them, say, hey, you got to stop this and clean up. The cleanup process is going to take some time. While cleaning up, you ought to stop the operation. If you are using cyanide, discontinue. You will have to disengage immediately. And this is how I'm saying, the report is eventually going to come out. And that's why I sounded the way I sounded for Mr. Gayman. I said, no. He said they are not formally. And that's why I told you go back, and you did right. You went back. They will conclude sometime next week, according to what I'm hearing. And they're going to come with a conclusion that the company is responsible for polluting the environment of the people. And most of these things that are happening to the kids, and then if they are responsible, that's where I'm requesting the Ministry of Justice to come in. Those kids that are affected, the Ministry of Health will have to come in and do some assessment there. There's a need for some assessment to be done.
Yeah, just before you land, let me have you. Okay, it says here the expert says the incident should have. Okay, let's say from the environmental protection, they have one Joe Blama Jala, an environmental agency's environmental evaluator, has been following the case closely. He does not believe this was an accident. He said, burying these fish and dead animals on the ground, we all know that it will affect the groundwater. Chala said, who is a lecturer of environmental science at the University of Liberia and the AMEU. He said the aquifer is right now within that environment. The aquifer is now contaminated. He said the berry fish could be seeping toxic material into the groundwater table, potentially threatening drinking water and sources for years to come. Jala said those who buried the fish knew that it was harmful and was going to harm the environment. They wanted to hide the risks. Then he went on to say, Bee Mountain shouldn't even be operating, he said. That risk need to be curtailed and managed well before they start operation again. That's the expert opinion. And then, go ahead.
Yeah, what did I say just now? I said the report came out that you asked them to halt. Because listen, if the environment is polluted, you cannot allow Bee Mountain to continue with operation. They will continue to pollute the environment, and that would be very dangerous to the environment, those that are inhabiting the environment. It's concerning. So if this is coming from Jala is someone's a reputable person. He also is not only involved with this thing about with the EPA, he's also teaches environmental science at 2 or 3 major universities in Liberia. So so he clocked with that authority to speak here on these kind of issues. But the government ought to listen and move swiftly and help them save the environment. One, particularly, most importantly, have safe life. Secondly, continue to protect and save the environment, because the environment is polluted. And this is some of the reason we see some of the strange diseases popping up. And kids, sometimes you see dying for unexplained medical reasons sometimes. Some of these things cannot be detected by naked microscope of other medical equipment back in the country because we are not that sophisticated, right? So some of the kids will come down with strange disease, if you will. Mr. Gayman, in no way I will also sit here and pretend to say I will back those kind of, no. But my concern now is we ought to deal with those that are there, even if we don't like them. If we will even, I don't know how to call it, pamper them to say, hey, move and protect your people. We ought to start saying that to them. We'll even place call to some of them. And you will say they can't think happen to your people. They are human. They do have conscience, right? So they will move also is, even if these same people been tampering with them, they will say it's time that we protect our people, particularly those innocent children, right? So they have to move. And that's one of the things we're pushing most of the guys to say, hey, the report should come out. Government put hard to the poor operation in the area, ensure that everything comes to a standstill. Move in to start working on how can we fix this. And then you have a long term. If there's a line for other people, for us to intervene, say, hey, we have some international expert that will come and help you. Reach out to those people, but the government of Liberia will really have to do that. And those lawmakers from Grand Kitman County and part of Bombing County, we have to really, that's why I'm trying to even try to reach to Representative Senator Snow today to really talk to him. And he's one of those saying he will really try to put some things about this. It's concerning. It's very concerning that people should be protected and move on. I don't see what's concerning.
Yeah.
Let me go to Fanta, just before you come in. It says here, Ome Kain, I guess I'm pronouncing his name right, Kyne, Kain or King. He has been to the hospital in Monrovia several times. Lab tests were done. He claimed he had filed a legal case against Bee Mountain for damages through the community, their lawyer. He says, since they have been waiting, the court keep telling that they can't get on the docket. In their own home, in their own country, he said, up to now, the case stands still, no hay, no tail.
Yeah.
He named 3 people that have died in the community from the poison. The EPA came in and answered to them and saying, the EPA said it cannot confirm or reject the link between the deaths in the contamination case, noting that the agency does not confirm health assessment on individuals.
Yeah.
So how is this possible? People are dying. You don't think they will do autopsy, but they say they don't do those things. They just
the Ministry of Health should come in that line. Also, I said the Ministry of Health and the EPA will have to work together.
So
the Ministry of Health should really come in.
Yeah, so I think I'm not gonna dismiss your point, Pewee. I think as always, your approach to this is very standard, right? Like, where are the findings? Understandable. Here is the difference with this case. The difference with this is that these spills have been happening, or like way even before 2016. But what has been documented with the EPA that they have reports today, right? They have binders today on are 4 major cases between 2016 and 2023. And this was confirmed by the Associated Press when they came and spent weeks in Liberia doing their own investigation. They didn't just sit in their comfy offices in New York to say, we're going to take the EPA report. They actually came down to Liberia. They went to Cape Town. They went to the communities and they heard the stories of the people. They have photos. If you look at the investigative report done by or produced by the Associated Press, it has all the photos in there. It has even photos, their own photos of the spills. It have photos of the mine shattering the people's homes. It have photos of the dead fish. It have recorded stories from the people. So when you say the EPA has not come out yet to confirm that this is actually tied to B Mountain, when you read here, right? When you read here, they have indeed confirmed that this is tied to B Mountain. Let's just start from the beginning. Documented spills. Reports indicate at least 4 major spills between 2016 to 2023. Chemical contamination. Laboratory tests confirm higher than permissible levels of cyanide, copper sulfate, and arsenic leaking from the mine's tailing dam, which led to mass fish death and community illness. This is from the EPA. Operational negligence. In 2020, a 2020 investigation found that the company operated an unapproved open wastewater facility instead of a closed one and blocked government inspectors. They blocked the EPA investigators from accessing their labs, right? EPA didn't stop there. Years later, the company continued to spill chemical into the waterways. Now EPA, they have blocked EPA has no access, right? But so they continue to spill. Okay, the company then filled. What normally happen in these mines, quote unquote, incidents, when you have a spill, you're supposed to pick up the phone and alert the environmental body that, hey, we have this, alert the community, right? To prevent any type of illness or prevent any harm to the community and the environment. They refuse to do that. Okay, for the spill that was in 2022 until after 72 hours, which they were forced to do. The fines that EPA, because EPA confirmed. So to your point, they haven't confirmed. EPA confirmed that this came from B Mountain, and they fined them $99,000. This is all in the EPA report. Okay. They then went back, and then somehow that $99,000 fine went to $25,000. How is this possible? How is this possible? And if you also look at the Associated Press and Gecko Project report, it says in that there were 3 international companies, and you can just do a YouTube search on this. There is the investigator or the environmental specialist from Canada saying, how is it that Liberia is allowing this company to operate here when they continue to violate the environment and the people in this way? She's on tape. She's on video. Also, the head of the adherence or compliance agency was so surprised when B Mountain pulled out of that agency to say they do not want to be regulated because they knew they could get away with it in Liberia by rubbing the palms of our legislative. And this is not just on one government. I want to be very clear about that. Okay, there was a British company who owned this mine. That British company, right before 2016 or even beyond that, then sold this mine to B Mountain. Those international reports came in before Ellen first signed the MDA or the ratification for that 3%. They told her, do not do it. The violation that's been happening here is only going to get worse. Do not sign this contract. She went against their advice. She signed it. Years later, Myean came into office. Myean then thought to compensate for all of this violation, he will increase the royalty to 5%. How do you even make such a negotiation? It's like a deal with the devil. So he increased the royalty to 5%, thinking that that's a compensation, knowing that they don't even pay that. Okay, now you have Garguah in office. When the youth went to protest, none of their corporate social responsibility have been met. Yet you have all these documented evidence against them. They have not made them to stop operation, nothing. The youth went to protest. We don't have jobs. You guys were supposed to be building hospitals, building roads, nothing. And we're getting sick every single day. We graduate, no jobs. They went to protest. The LNP shot 4 people to death. 4 children. Pewee, in the head. I have the photo. Yeah, this is the story of Bay Mountain in Liberia. This is the story of Bay Mountain in Grand Cape Mount. And this also affects Bomi. This also affects Papalu. This affects all of Liberia. So this is not a case where it's all speculative and we're being emotional, we're being sentimental. That is very far from it. When you have over a decade, nearly 2 decades of abuse, and not one government has stood up to this company, yet you see senators like Seaman Taylor and the representatives taking bribes from B Mountain, and you see the president, the head of our country, who's supposed to prioritize the welfare of the people, flying in B Mountain private jet. What type of resolve are we supposed to get from this? What type of resolve? This is hard evidence. If they're not going to do anything, where does that leave us? Where does that leave the people?
Excellent, excellent. Let's take down the let's go. Let me hear from Jimmy Eastman here. Jimmy Eastman said this has been going on long. Liberian officials are willfully complicit. We are dying in their hands. Jimmy Eastman is someone who carries a lot of weight. He is the son of the preeminent Liberian diplomat, Honorable Eastman, and he's been in this for a long time. He knows this goes all the way back. Our folks, instead of standing up for the people, when money changed hands, like we are seeing, like the Liberian investigator reported it last time, 20 buses that came to Liberia under the guise of easing transportation in Monrovia by Sir Joseph. All 20 buses wind up in Nimba, contracting transportation for Esala Metal. And the investigative reporters followed them for over 2 weeks, riding in behind them and following what was happening. Find out that if you went to Monroe, you would not find any of those buses that Sir Joseph brought. They are all over there. Same thing with B Mountain. Representatives and senators are subcontractors. They have the machines, they have the trucks there. So for them, it is very difficult because they're playing they're like double agents. They want to talk on behalf of the people, but they are also benefiting. They are beneficiary of the spoils. So this is where we are. The people got together and took this company to court. And the old man say, since then, no hay, no tea. They can't even get on the docket. We will revisit that. Let's go to, we're going to come back to that when everybody's here because that's very important. This one says, May 120, this is May Day, so we're going full blast. It said the Center for Media Studies and Peace Building, I guess it's CMEST, Liberia has called for urgent action to safeguard press freedom in Liberia, warning of growing threats to journalists, despite notable gains made in recent years. In a CMS statement issued on the when they were marking World Press Day, which is today, I guess May 1 is World Press Day, celebrating globally on May 3rd, that will actually be the official day, 2026, under the theme, Shaping a Future of Peace. promoting press freedom for human rights, development, and security. They said Liberia progress toward a free and independent media environment remain fragile and at risk for reversal under this administration. The agency acknowledged that Liberia has made important strides, particularly through the continued implementations of the Kamara Act of Press Freedom. We decentralize libel and strengthen legal protection against journalists. But on the other hand, we are backsliding. Honorable Pewee, we all consider ourselves members of the media. On World Press Day, they are warning that freedom of the press in Liberia is taking a back seat with a propensity of backsliding.
Oh yes, and there's a need. A lot more been done in promoting press freedom. You know, Liberia, years back, a couple of decades back, that was say 3 to 4 decades back, Liberia now a country that indulged into press freedom, if you will. The press will actually muscle and censors, and then chase out of the country those very critical voices. I can be very honest here. Even during the Taylor administration, many independent journalists have to flee for their lives. They left the country, and the rest of that. Then after the Dopoh regime was even more disturbing. Journalists were beheaded, if you will. They were beheaded in some certain cases. We learned about this Charles Myean situation. The news is some reports allegedly that he was beheaded and the rest of that. But again, there's report that journalists in Liberia before the civil crisis, it was very terrible for them. It was very difficult. That press freedom was not even after the war. The first phase of the war, then it's 7 again, it started up to the time the Liberia crisis came in. And then we took a break in 2003 when Mr. Taylor left the country, and then Liberia embraced peace via the Comprehensive Accra Peace Agreement. Immediately after that, we came back to rebirth our democracy by opening the first constituted elections that were held in October of 2005. And ever since that time, we reopened the form of folks democratizing press freedom, if you will, where they have time. And then by that, it was evident by the proliferation of a lot of radio stations, the newspapers in the country that got some level of freedom, reporting freely, if you will. Then the UN even came to our system, the broader United Nations Radio. We had Star Radio and others, all those things, the proliferation of all these things. Then we birthed something in Liberia that we refer to now as the community radios that now proliferated across the country and happened in the broadcast area in terms of information dissemination and people reporting from the traditional aspect, the travel aspect, and all those things. So international organizations use most of those community radio as a bastion for getting across the country in spreading democracy, spreading information, and you know. So it was a very important tool that reintroduced the freedom of the press and the freedom of the thought of every individual via Article 15 of the Constitution. Again, it got a little muscle, a little bit in the middle of that when Madam Salif gave a very huge dispensation. But at certain critical times, certain individuals that were engaged also into broadcasting in terms of out of the nomenclature of political commentator or you want political analyst in hiding behind the canopy of being a journalist also. And then the process went a little bit rocky, but it didn't move the level of what we saw during the 80s and sometime in the 70s, if you will, or part of the 90s and all those things. So in the early 2000s. So yes, Madame Salif came and she started signing most of those documentation about press freedom. And then it was loud. Mr. Weah sent the message very big time the former president, George Weah administration, did bring in the Abulai Kamara Act that also tried to decriminalize the issue about critique and all those things and press freedom. So it was a massive improvement and development in terms of the Abulai Kamara Act that talk about decriminalization of speech. It was critically important. That meant to stop government officials from targeting or trying to use the power they got in terms of the structure of the establishment to hook and pin down journalists and other things. So the Abulai Act also tremendously improved the issue of freedom of speech and the rest of that. Meanwhile, you still have some folks that will come to try to muscle those things. The Myean administration did a fantastic job. There was no journalists being intimidated. An extremely fantastic job in terms of the history of that. So we are having one of the taker of all king as president of Liberia. He entertained the barrage of criticism coming from all walks of life. There was no, I think, Mr. Weah, I don't know if he had a kind of a, I don't know how to put this, defense system in the air for his skin to just put it around and say, I will let him say anything. When it kind of bounce, it just go back. So the defense system around that, so he opened it up. And I have not seen any leader that marched it up to now. Then the Block administration came quickly. And the new information minister started to come after journalists. There's a lot of clip coming up. He was threatening them. He wanted to attempt to cease. And also, all of those were counterproductive towards the Abulai Kamara Act in terms of enhancing adequate press freedom and the rest of that. The issue of press freedom comes a long way. If you were to go back to, the rest of it, Dopoh was one of those persons that championed the cause of press freedom in Liberia. As a matter of fact, Dopoh was always prepared. I'm told whenever a very great son, a very smart man, very critical writer, he always had a blanket with him, believing that the next day, probably when he did something, he's going to jail. He always moved, I don't know, for some reason, right? So, I mean, there's a need for every government moving forward to deplore the tendency of former President George Weah. And he showed that, because that's the way Liberia are going to move forward. Allow the Liberian people to democratize their own speaking. Allow everybody to be into it. Now, we do agree that everything got some limitation, right? The limitation thereof will have to be respected by everybody. But we ought to now move to the Weah era, ensuring that press freedom and the rest of that. You saw the Demi report coming from the PU recently, just quite recently. And this government, on this current government, I think this government has been doing terribly poor in terms of respecting the freedom of press and the rest of that.
Yeah, Fanta, I'll read on. It says here, while Liberia have done a lot of progress in that area, according to Pewee, it said, despite these gains, the organization expressed deep concerns over a series of press freedom violations recorded in 2025, describing them as indicative of a troubling pattern of intimidation and abuse against journalists. The organization cited several cases, including the reported assault on journalist Moses Garguah of BBC by officers of the Liberia National Police while covering a sports match at the SKD Stadium in Monrovia. The threat of arrest and intimidation faced by Daily Observer newspaper managing editor Bob Best and reporter David Yates from Deputy Inspector General of Police Simeon Frank for the publication of a news story concerning the death of Boulevard Hotel Palace manager Amwa Fodlu, the kidnapping of journalist Alex Yomi of Radio Lyre in Nima County by men believed to be from the Poro Tradition Society, the harassment of journalist Frank Sunowola of the Public Trust Media Group by some officers of the Monrovia City Police who took his phone, deleted all the photos he had been taking when the police were harassing female street peddlers. The intimidation and harassment of journalist Eric Opa Duo and Matusila Gay of Riverside County by Associate Magistrate Dopoh Zuku of the Riverside Managerial Court, and the detention of Maryland County Central Prison of General Edward Steen by Associate Magistrate Yima Bidell for reporting a story that implicated the magistrate of allegation of robbery. Let me welcome Victor Nagbe. In your county of Maryland County magistrate, because they say they accuse him of corruption, they show him the report, he jailed the journalist.
That's how we do in Maryland. You don't play.
Welcome, man.
You started, yeah, it's good to be with you guys. Happy Friday. I was listening to most of what you've been talking about, and let me thank you for lifting these topics. With all due respect for all the topics, I was just back here watching replays of my Sixers game last night. I mean, did you see that dominant performance? I mean, it was a classic. We took Boston to school. So right now we're just enjoying ourselves. We're hoping to take the series tomorrow.
It's game 7 with Steve.
My boy Stephen A. and Perkin feeling calling it. Perk has already given to, but it's good to be with you. So yeah, you were talking about B Mountain, and I know Fanta is lifting this topic. So I was looking over some of the stuff coming in, and B Mountain has been in Liberia for over 25 years.
Yes.
Over 25 years. What have they done? What can they point to? I don't know. I haven't been to Cape Mountain.
What do you mean? What have they done?
I mean, what can
you didn't see the killing of the fish and the pollution of the water?
What have they done for our people? Yeah, and I was reading apparently the journalist Charles Yates was the first to report that they have an airstrip in Cape Mount. How do we allow this to happen? Who are we monitoring this? You and I were in Monrovia, Jerome. You told me the story of what you learned, how some of the resources have been ferreted out of the country. And I was just, I was just really beside myself. It makes me feel so bad. When you do the math, they're reporting around 1.6 billion a year. You multiply that by 25 years, that's over $40 billion.
And that's why they're reporting.
That's what they're getting out. They said they're getting 900 kilograms. Other reports say they're getting almost 130, 1,300 rather kilograms of gold, and all unreported. And we all know. I mean, we have our engineers in Liberia. There are methods that they can use, to verify what these people are taking out, And then when you look at all of that, you're talking about the journalists being jailed in Maryland. Well, what about the reported, right? Flying of the B Mountains private jet by our own president. I mean, that closes the whole case. Like the children say here, game over. Yeah. Game over. Who can they put forth? Who is going to speak for us when the president of the Republic of Liberia is reportedly flying in the private jet of a company that has been reported to systematically deprive our people, no development, taking all the resources for peanuts. And every day we're flying out of the country, going elsewhere, looking for resources when they're right there in our own country. So, I hope this petition and other things that have been done. I was saying over the weekend, some of the government people, I was surprised. They sounded helpless. They seem to believe they're helpless. And they were saying, we hope you opposition people will live this matter. And I was saying to myself, what? This is what this has come to, and I hope that is not the entirety of the attitude of the government towards this. But I mean, given by what we see, I mean, 3 years in, we don't see any significant impact you know. And so hopefully, we can find a way for our people. But this is really very, very disconcerting. It shouldn't be happening in this day and age. How can we, in the age of technology, not be able to verify what is being taken out of our country? And we allow these people to run their own airstrip. Do we even supervise this airstrip? How do we allow this to happen? But anyway, it's good to be with you guys. Happy Friday.
Great. Let me welcome Chief himself, Saint Tomalin. The old people used to say, when you play in the interior, you play the high C, right? Behind your head, you say, which hand in? Is it in my left hand or right hand? They got a hand. So you say left, they say, oh, yeah. You got it.
And you got two hands. If you're not there, then hold it from me and bring the other hand out. Let me see. But they put a hand behind, but then they switch it quick.
So the old people say, when you are counting and you want to cheat the other guy, you say 1 for you, 10 for me, 2 for you, 20 for me. That's why B. Martin do not Liberia. B. Martin is reporting to you 800, maybe 800 pounds, 8,000 tons. Actually, they are taking 24,000 tons. Yeah. That's what we are against. Since we have no means of verification, we take the welfare. Welcome, Tomalin. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mr. Gayman. Good to see you, Fanta, Mr. Nagbe, and Pewee. Good to see everybody and all our followers around the world. I won't be here long. I will get myself ready for the CMC program, so I won't be here. I will cut my hair and prepare myself.
I just knew that.
You preparing more than the CMC for the set now. Everybody comfortable. You have the stay sitting there. You went
first time. You gotta catch. You gotta wear first time. You gotta catch.
I heard Fanta be there, so I want.
Tomalin, do you have sharing capability, or Pewee? Do any of you have sharing capability? Because I share a link. Can we see that link?
I won't go see. I'll see Fanta on tomorrow. So
no problem. Can we share this video, please? It's like a 2-minute video. Can we share that, please? Tomalin or Pewee, do you guys have capability?
No, I don't. Myean can.
No, Myean, there's something wrong with Myean computer, so I have to download it and then send it to him. But I was hoping that.
Unfortunately, I think I got it on my tablet. I'm normally gonna use my tablet. I'm not using my computer, so I can't. My computer will do it. So.
Okay.
I gotta do all that stuff. I'll make sure I get access to it. When Myean can do it, which is not good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let me see if I can download it then Myean, and then I'll send it to you.
Yeah, but it's good. I hear you guys talking about look, let me tell you something. I listened to the president when he arrived when he came from the US yesterday. They told him what they can always do. They get these LBL, they post, they get these guys. They don't, and that's on the press conference there. They get LBS to put up position. They will never have any other reporter there. They will all be there, but they will give them preference, certain people preference. So they're asking the question, how you feel about the war you got? That question they're asking, come on now. The question you're asking to say, to talk about the issues that affect in the country at the moment. What Ben Sanvee said. First question I'll pose to you. But then when somebody asking about opposition saying that the award you got is nothing, it didn't benefit the country. And what he say again? The president said, the boy repeated the question. He said, I wanted you to repeat because he's an opposition. So why should I say? So look, the president, he has this tendency where he doesn't care. He feels that, no, I'm not afraid of nobody. And the opposition, I'm not even, what they say, I will not listen to them. I'll do what I got to do. Like some countries, some president will say, look, opposition, they all help you to move the country forward. They are there to hold you accountable. So if they're criticizing you, you can't just ignore them. You can't just dismiss them. You're supposed to at least comment to them. But like I witnessed Mana Salif during her tenure, she invited the opposition at one point in time to meet the All King. President Weah did the same thing too. He invited all opposition leaders at one point in time to dialogue. Because at the end of the day, is about the good of the country. But the president, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He can then wave it, dismiss them, and move on. And the issue of all this B mounting, all this stuff. Look. Until you see in America, you got the various institutions here. Take the government to court. They're always in court. When, for instance, it didn't happen in Minnesota, they took them to court. When you start to infringe on the people's rights, they go to court. But in Liberia, we don't have no institution like that will say, well, that I want to see organizations say they just writing statement condemning. No, it's not out to it. Go to court. Test the system. Go to court. Take the government to court. And put our judiciary on the record. Let's see whether they will look at A and say that B. Take them to court, but we don't do it.
No, that's exactly like what's about to happen. Like they don't even know like what's coming for them. But yeah, that's exactly what's about to happen. But I have this like 2-minute video that I had to download here, like for Myean. I think this is going to be really interesting. Myean, if you can share now, would be really good. It's just like we should all just be very, very I don't know, depressed is probably not the word, because that just sends a sense of helplessness, and we cannot be helpless against oppression. Myean now is good, like if you can hear me.
Well, the people always, on a sad note, I know every Friday we get these sad news. I'm hearing that one of Liberia's former striker, Lone Star former striker, Robert Clark, break dancer, he passed away this evening in Liberia.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Wow. I know he was in Germany. He was based in Germany. But now I know I heard he was sick at one point in time, but I just got a message here. Former Lone Star striker, Robert Clark, break dancer, passed away this evening in Liberia. Oh my God, that's some sad news again.
Wow, we just have Coco what was it, like 2 weeks ago?
Coco, yeah, then Robert Clark, wow, people are going, man.
Condolences to the family.
Yeah. Oh Lord. Yeah, I guess it's that generation, their time, they all grew up together. But I don't think they are even in their 70s. I'm not sure because they don't say much.
Robert might be in his maybe early 60s or yeah, because he played along with Myean. Yeah, he played with Myean, but he was senior to Myean.
I senior to Myean. I mean, should be probably out of late 60s.
Yeah, in 60s. Yeah, in 60s. Yeah, because they played. Robert Clark played during dual administration. Yeah, but yeah, they played. Yeah, but he was higher. He was like a senior to Myean, the Peabody. Yeah, so because President we are returning 60 this year. So and Robert Clark might be maybe 65, 65 like that. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, while we wait for the video, it says here 7 in 10 Liberian prisoners have never been convicted, have not been convicted. The government own official report revealed. Assistant Minister for Rehabilitation Gabriel Upela told the 8th Annual Convention of the National Association of Public Defenders of Liberia that of the 3,768 inmates currently held in correction facilities nationwide, 2,650 are partially pre-detainees still awaiting trial. Wow. Only 1,000 have been convicted. Out of almost 4,000, only 1,000 have been convicted, and the rest of the guys just languishing in jail with no trial, no conviction. So this should be alarming for us as a country, noting that in the functioning justice system, convicted prisoners, not pre-trial detainees, should constitute the majority of the prison population. He attributed the crisis to compounding failures at every level of the justice system in Liberia. Constitutional rights to speedy trial begin routinely violated. Several shortages of justice. Is he ready?
Yeah, he's ready.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, go ahead, Myean. Oh, we're gonna need volume, Myean. William. Okay, please coming.
I am not happy with the company. You see, the company, the very time they enter in Atia, we all were happy. But our people that we sent in front, the agreement they signed with the people, it made us we not happy again.
So, you ask a question, right?
When they say company, it's for the community to benefit, but we are not benefiting anything. See our school campus, the people, when they enter, they say the first thing we're going to do, we're going to pay our college in Atia. Nothing has been done. See our community school, nothing. The community clinic, nothing. So how will be satisfied, or how will be happy for the people to work? Our forward that we're depending on. Now, if you go on Seso River to say you put in your leg on the water, you can get 1 eye again of gold.
This is one of the most contaminated areas I've looked at. The concentrations of arsenic and cyanide in that river, if that were occurring in Canada, would have triggered full-scale investigations because there were death of fish and there was human health complaints.
Thank you very much. You see everything we
I think it's all in the government's hands. The government really does need to monitor and manage these mines to protect the local villages and the people that need the water and these foods for their way of life. Again, I get the sense that these villages, there's not just a grocery store you can go to, whether people have the money or if that grocery store even has the foods that they want. They want to be fishing from the river. They want to be consuming the water from these rivers, using them to wash their clothes and their way of life. So the government needs to make sure that the rules imposed on these mines protect those ways of life.
So this is the town they're supposed to be updating. You're supposed to have a little Dubai of Kitmao of this village with bee mounting in tow, but no, it is still very much dilapidated. And this is all in the AP report, confirmed by the EPA. The government, the president, the Senate Pro Tem, they're all aware of this. This is nothing for us to say, perhaps they're unaware, they don't know. They know. They have chosen not to act and sacrifice the lives of our people for their greed. So how long can we continue to look away? There's even a case, some families filed a $100 million lawsuit with the Justice Department or the Ministry of Justice. I know Pewee mentioned that earlier, and the ministry did nothing. So the Ministry of Justice is aware of this exploitation. The House of Representatives is aware of this exploitation. The Senate is aware of this exploitation. The executive is aware of this exploitation. LNP is involved in protecting the mines. The last time they were here, we asked them, why do you guys protect the mining companies against the people? Right? Why do you have LNP soldiers at the mining sites? And when the youth went to protest, the LNP shot them dead right in the head. So this is not a new case incident that Liberia is unfamiliar with. If we haven't solved it for 25 years, and thank you, Mr. Nagbe, for that correction, 25 years. 25 years. We have to do something different. We keep doing the same thing over and over. That's why nothing changes here. Nothing changes, and nothing is going to change. So I'm really just calling on
using them to wash their clothes and their way of
to just really, Myean, you can pull out now. I'm really just calling on all of us to just think creatively of how we can approach this problem to actually attempt at moving the needle in a favorable direction and not rely on the same old systems to solve this problem because they've had opportunity one administration after the other. You know, where do we go from here? We have to be strategic and tactical about that.
Well, Myean, you can take the video down. Yeah, this is where we are. The same thing can be said about LOC, even though they are much better, but we are facing the same problem. The Bassa people stood against LOC, poisoning, confiscating land. Same thing can be said in Firestone. Same thing can be said in Nimba. Same thing can be said in Bond County. You remember when the chemical truck spilled? The EPA guy said they should dig so the chemical go in the ground so it don't affect people. Can you imagine?
Can you imagine that?
How can you are saying, okay, don't let it be exposed. You just dig so the chemical can go in the ground and then it will not affect the people.
But Jerome, I have a question for Fanta. Fanta, doing your research, I was reading up briefly before I came on when I knew this is what we were talking about. I understand that Modag was the first to blow the whistle on Bee Mountain, and this may have partially contributed to his termination, which we call resignation, because I know his wife wrote a very cryptic note after he quit. Did you come upon anything to indicate that you may have played any role in this? And when you answer that, I want you to please walk us through the process, what you anticipate from the petition. I know you're saying BDS, all of these major companies, I think you want to divest from Bee Mountain, but if you can walk us through for our listening audience and so that they can have an idea of what's up.
Yeah, great question, Mr. Nagbe. Thank you so much for that. The local people have been sounding the alarm on Bee Mountain for a very long time. I think I may only came in contact with Bee Mountain or only sounded some type of alarm with Bee Mountain when he realized that they were importing a lot of these produce or products that were supposed to be purchased locally when he was, I think, minister or head of commerce.
Right.
So that's the only point at which I think he became vocal, or not even to a point that moved the needle in any direction. Because keep in mind, these people have been around for 25 years, and the first time, so from the interim government that welcomed them, then you have Ellen signing the 3% royalty from her first term, and then go into her second term, and then Weah comes in, he signs the 5%, right? Then you have Bwaka inheriting the 5%, and so that's where we are today. So all this time, you have folks like the Amins of the world that have not been vocal about this at all. And they were very critical to the Unity Party system or ecosystem. You have legislative, you have senators who were also part of these ratifications, because 2 times. So one during Ellen, one during Weah, and most of these same people were around. My goal for this is to definitely affix signatures to paper. Let's get the petition out there, because what we want to do is get the international community involved and try to pull those levers, because we know that the supply chain, like what gets supplied to your Apple, to your Disney, to your NVIDIA, what makes its way to MKS, PMP in Switzerland finds its way into the American market. And if our government is not going to do anything for 25 years, we're hoping to leverage those levers and then influence the company to actually course correct or do the right thing for the people. If they're not going to do that, we want their contract and their MDA to be canceled. Even the new ratification that happened was not supposed to be signed. You're supposed to have representatives from the community in that room to provide their input to the House prior to that ratification or the MDA being signed, and they didn't do that. There are so many violations that happened, and therefore it deems it legally not binding, right? Legally, it's not possible for them to uphold or possess such a concession. So that the current ratification is illegal. So we want that to be canceled if the reconciliations cannot happen, number one. Number two, we're going to be pushing for probably sanctions. We're going to be exploring that. So no cards are off the table. Our people cannot continue to suffer for decades. And they're doing it so blatantly. These executives and representatives who are supposed to be representing the people, being the voice of the people, are the ones benefiting from the bee mountains of the world. Look, they're providing trucks for bee mounting, right? They are taking bribes from bee mounting for 25 years. This is not like one or 2 years we're talking about. So how are these same people supposed to rectify all of these violations? You're talking about arsenic, cyanide, mercury, copper. People are drinking it because they don't know any better. The water they have relied on for so long, their ancestors have relied on for so long. This is their way of life. And now also what they're doing is stealing the people's land. So they're continually, intentionally spilling these chemicals in parts of the county so that people can vacate those areas. Where is Lands and Mines? And if anyone, I think, bear any consequence here, I think it's the former minister, William Pewee. He got fired for sounding the alarm against Bee Mountain. The president fired him because of that. In part of his interview, he mentioned that. It's out there. We just have to look it up. So when all of these people you have, every time someone speaks out, when the government appoints them, they get fired, means that the government is complicit. They are partners to Bee Mountain and the ArcelorMittals of the world. So where does that leave the people? So then all we have left is to go after the supply chain and go after the companies who benefit from the gold that Bee Mountain takes from Liberia.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
This is great. We are calling all Cape Mountaineans, everybody from Cape Mount. You need to join this fight. We are going to join because anything that affects Liberia, any part of Liberia affects everybody. But
and Jerome, I want to encourage TCA. I have this petition on my website, but I want to publicly encourage TCA to please put this petition on the website. We have a lot of people following us. I think we should help. I'm sorry?
To what?
To put this petition on our website.
I thought Myean got it. You put it there?
Yeah, Myean has it.
Yeah,
yes.
I saw it on our.
My question is, so who is this petition going to, and who are we seeking redress from, like the remedy to come out? Because you know what I'm asking, because right now I've noticed over the years is that, like, our government officials, whether it was, our past government, the government since the last 30 years, I noticed that the only time our government officials or our leadership in our country takes things serious, unless the U.S. talk, and when the U.S. get involved and do sanction. But I can tell you, I talked to somebody the other day, Tomalin, don't expect this administration to do sanction, because first of all, there's a list on the Trump administration list, Africa. You won't talk much about Africa, and I witnessed a scenario in his office, I think a couple of months ago. You're having a press conference, and then this African journalist asked me a question about Africa. He said, "What are you asking me a question for What you gotta do? What question gotta do while we're talking here? It shows you that he really don't really take Africa serious. So I don't know who we will seek for redress, because, and that's my. I think for me, I think what I would advise to use our system in Liberia. I mean, our courts, take the matter to court, take the government to court. They put it, make it on record. The government is in court for B Mountain taking it to court. Let's use our system. Let's try our system. Take it to court.
I think,
so B Mountain cannot be sued in Liberia. In their contract that the government agreed to, they can only do arbitration, and that only happens in the UK. So Liberia doesn't have any legal rights over B Mountain. Any arbitration has to be done in the UK. Please go ahead, Mr. Nagbe.
So, Fanta, and to follow through with what Tom is raising, I know you're lifting this to change.org, and I believe the signatures have to reach a critical, threshold for the petition to be picked up, I believe. And besides public shaming of these organizations, such as Apple and NVIDIA and all of that, Tomalin also has a point. I think the culmination of the public shaming is for critical voices, such as the European Union, the government of the USA, to begin to pressure these companies to divest their engagement, their participation with this company, because they are exploiting and But that's why I was asking you to see if we could play it out and see what we expect, how we expect to get action out of the petition.
Yeah.
If you have any idea on that.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, Liberia doesn't have any legal grounds or rights over B Mountain. In their MDA, it states that our senators signed. It states that arbitration, any issue that the contract has, it has to go through arbitration. And arbitration is not a court. Arbitration is where, and they have to pick the location for arbitration. And that location is the UK. And this is where they pick their lawyers. So they essentially become the judge and the jury. The advantage we have here is leveraging the UK government, right? The Prime Minister of the UK, and getting them involved, because since B Mountain can only go through any type of legal ramifications in their country, we have to leverage them. So we're also looking to get them involved as well. When it comes to Liberia, yeah, we can do it as a checking the box exercise, meaning to say, okay, we attempted, but we know it's not going to go anywhere. But for record's sake, of course, we can do that. I'm even in the midst of preparing a letter to the Senate Pro Tem and addressing them to address this in their next plenary, right? So we can do that for the sake of checking the boxes. But we've seen that oftentimes when source companies and the countries in which they operate do not respect the laws of said countries, what activists have done is identify who in the supply chain is going to be impacted by a disruption from that source company, and then go after them. So when you're talking about Apple is using the gold that comes from B Mountain in Liberia, NVIDIA is using the gold that comes from B Mountain in Liberia, Walt Disney and Disney, the Disney is using the gold that comes from B Mountain in Liberia. I'm sure before they continue any business relationship with B Mountain, they're going to ensure this issue that we have is resolved. The exploitation subsides, if anything. So because what those companies want, lastly, is any type of bad press or reputational risk. And that's exactly what's coming to them, because they are directly, look, this is the chain. B Mountain mines this gold in Grand Cape Mount. The gold leaves Grand Cape Mount like into sometimes like they're Turkish, so Turkey, or to Switzerland, to a company called MKSPMP. That's the company that refines the gold for B Mountain. Then that company sells to everyone else, like your Apple, your NVIDIA, your Starbucks. Starbucks uses the gold that B Mountain mounts from Liberia. So that is our goal. And that's why this petition is so important, because it is accessible to everyone globally. And this is not just limited to capture signatures of Liberians. Anyone who is an environmentalist, anyone who cares about human rights, anyone who cares about justice, anyone who cares about crimes against humanity should absolutely affix their signature to this petition. The more the merrier.
Yeah, I mean, it's good, but I mean, it's a good idea. But like I said, to elevate it more, like you need some international law firm to get involved to help make the case, to take it forward. But petition, you know, there are thousands of petitions out there, and you just see this and just because it's a Liberia, they won't let, you know. So if maybe you have some more force on it with some legal firm taking it up and making it an international case, okay, then I know it will get some more traction. But you sign signature.
Well, I'm sorry. I know you got to take over quickly, but let me just quick. I found that I don't know. And again, this is probably where money comes in. But I'm thinking we should, if we can reach out to any celebrities, you know, maybe athletes, you know, help us live the message. You know, we have superstars in our life. I don't know President Weah was president when B. Martin was doing that thing. So I don't know if we can look to him. But I'm thinking if we can engage, you know, other actors with bigger microphone than we do, and you know, they could probably help or lift the misery. Before I pass it on, yeah, I know you we're talking about gold, but the fact that they have arsenic leaking in the water cyanide suggests to me, you know, we have these semiconductors, you know, they're on the periodic table. But arsenic, the fact that it's leaking in the water, I think they're mining other stuff beyond just gold, because arsenic is very, very useful in enriching the properties of semiconductors, such as silicon, the stuff that they use in the computer that you're talking about, on the cell phone, stuff like that. So I believe they may expressly tell us they're digging for gold, but I think they're doing a lot more than they're getting out of, you know, they're getting precious metals basically from these places that they are not reporting to us.
You just struck a good point. So what we look for now is where's a celebrity who is concerned about the environment.
Yes.
Okay? And that the kind of person you want to tap in now and tell them they can use the voice, use the platform, and the puppet to wherever the platform they got to elevate this concern. So you check around, so who's the leading advocate, environmentalist advocate, you know, and you try to track that person or whoever that group is, and then they can say, well, let's take it over. We think we can get into this and make it because what do we do, right? You send it to such people. When having these international conferences like the United Nations General Assembly, the only thing about environment, about the earth, everything, they are represented there. They'll use it and they'll talk, and then they put the government on the spot, because at these international meetings, Liberia is represented, and you find somebody just putting Liberia on the spot, very in front on the war stage. It's embarrassing. The first thing you'll say, "Oh no, we address it," you know. Yeah. But yeah, so I think but.
Yeah, I truly appreciate all of your suggestions, and I think they're really great. Please do cascade the message. If you, I will certainly go to continue investigating, aligning with those actors. If anyone comes to your mind, please do share. I know Mr. Gayman have been really great in this, so I really want to thank you for that. He's been really fantastic behind the scenes, and I'll absolutely continue to work with him and everyone. Right? This is open. This is for all of us. This is not a Fanta Kamara thing. This is not a Cape Mount thing. This is a Liberia issue that we have to, for once, galvanize as citizens who truly believe or truly live out. When your brother is harmed, that harm is also felt by you as well, right? Be your brother's keepers. We have to be our brothers and sister keepers here. The buck does not stop with me or at Cape Mount. So thank you so much again, Mr. Gayman, Mr. Nagbe, Tomalin, Pewee, and everyone. I encourage all of us to work together to truly bring justice for Liberia. Thank you.
Excellent. God, ladies and gentlemen, we got a breaking news. I just got a letter, a press release forwarded to me from the Grand Jita people from Grand Jita County. And Prince Weah was able to send this to us. It says here, for immediate release, press release, for immediate release, the Global Crown People Network, the Crown Nation expresses profound sorrow at the passing of Honorable Ambassador George G. Solo, a distinguished leader and dedicated patriot of Grand Jita, and indeed of all Liberia. His death marked a significant loss, not only for our nation, but also for the democratic values and the evolving political landscape of Liberia. Ambassador Solo was traveling via Royal Air Maroc flight AT-200 from Casablanca to New York when he suffered a health emergency mid-flight. Despite medical effort, the physicians on board, he could not be resuscitated. Ambassador Solo's untimely passing underscored a stark reality of political betrayal. The current administration led by President Joseph Boakai has exhibited a troubling disregard for Ambassador Solo's rightful role as a key government official, have consistently undermined his designated functions. We are particularly disheartened by the action of Minister of Foreign Affairs Sorok Beslo Yinati, Senate Pro Tem Yobli Kanga Lawrence, and Senator Abraham Daros Dillon of Monserrato County. Their deliberate obstruction of the confirmation process for Ambassador Solo, originally named as the Ambassador of the Republic of Italy, reflect a pattern of neglect and political betrayal that have caused significant stress and frustration. Credible sources within the government have revealed ongoing conflict among prominent figures opposing Ambassador Solo's nomination to vital positions, including his proposed role as Ambassador Extraordinary Plenipotentiary of Liberia to the Kingdom of Belgium, the European Union, Benelux countries. In conversation with Ambassador Solo, Minister Yinati is reported to have stated, quote, George, many people are fighting against your nomination, specifically Senator Dillon and Yobli Kanga. They are threatening my position for you. Just let it go of the Brussels ambassador role. We have decided to give it to Liva Dima, a Liberty Party steward. Perhaps we can look at Nigeria or Italy instead. This exemplifies the challenges Ambassador Solo faced in his pursuit of service. On August 12, 2025, President Boakai nominated Ambassador Solo again for the position of Liberia's ambassador to Italy. However, the confirmation hearing was never scheduled, leaving his appointment pending until his death, April 25, 2026. The mistreatment and honor-handed tactics directed at Ambassador Solo, a son of our ethnicity, have left a lasting hurt within our community. The late ambassador was a vigorous supporter of the 2023 Unity Party campaign, contributing both financially and materially to the election effort of President Joseph Boakai and Vice President Cohn. His passionate advocacy played a crucial role in the party's electoral process and successes. History will remember Cyril Beslo Yinati, Abraham Daros Dillon, and Yobli Kanga Lawrence for the betrayal of a proud son of the Crown Land. We, the true sons and daughters of Grand Jita County, will forever remember this betrayal in our hearts. We reserve the right to pursue further political action in response to this egregious betrayal by members of the government. Ambassador George G. Solo may have departed from our hearts and sight, but he will forever remain in our hearts and be remembered. Your life was blessed, was a blessing, and your legacy is a treasure. Great man Solo You are cherished beyond words and will be missed beyond measure. With a heavy heart, the National Executive Committee, the Global Crown People Network, on behalf of the Crown Nation and the Grand Juda County people, Grand Juda County Association, this is the press release. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a press release, but it's very, 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 very harsh, blunt, and to the point.
Wow.
Most of us were wondering, this man had been nominated months, almost a year. What was happening? He was just going in circle. Now we are getting information from inside that there were people that were fighting him, obviously because he had ties with CDC. Obviously, he's from Grand Juda. And he may not have been a member of the party, so they prefer Levi Dima, who is a stalwart of the unit of the Liberty Party over him. And he died.
Is Levi Dima from Liberty Party or Unity Party?
Liberty Party.
Oh, it's a Liberty Party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, but let me be a little quiet. I mean, let me see here first and foremost for the Kingdom of Belgium and the European Union. I wouldn't speak to that clearly because he was not appointed in said position. It was just Roman at the time that he was tipped to be appointed at that level. And again, it was speculated. There was certain, and I want to be very clear before I don't want the Grand Juda to come after me for saying this. So that's why I want to be clear. It was speculated that the agreement was not accepted by the Belgian government. Then, despite the reason why they didn't nominate him. That is basic speculations. But again, I will be inclined to understand now that probably he was being fought to not get that nomination because of very critical, very important and critical nomination. Ambassador Isaac Unabo spent almost a decade or thereabout in Brussels representing Liberia to the Kingdom of Belgium and the European Union, and with other jurisdictions, also concurrent jurisdiction across certain other European countries also. The thing here, Mr. Gayman, is that I'm sufficiently convinced that with the folks in the United Party, if you are not inside of United Party partisan, or you don't have that powerful voice around the presidency to break the rank, to push you in, it's going to be very difficult. And I suspect here there's Dima being around for some time. He worked with the United Party government before, as at the level of Superintendent of Grand Bassa County, at the level of Deputy Minister of the Ministry of Labor, at the level of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and of late, even during the Myean administration, when Bazonga I can recall, he was in Japan, and that he was assigned in Japan and later recalled. There was some issue, later recall and all those things. And then they brought him to Brussels, granted. Then the issue about Italy came about because we had Ambassador Crayon assigned at our embassy in Rome. Ambassador Crayon was an old man now. He'd been around for a very long time, a very seasoned career diplomat. But it was clear that he would have been recalled because of the age, and he was not doing very okay. So Ambassador Crayon, then they appointed, they finally nominated him, and I don't know the reason from August to now. There's no issue with George Soros causing problem anywhere. I believe the agreement was accepted, but there was this, and there's a lot of things that unfold in power maneuver and all those things. I believe that they fought him from within the Liberian Senate, and that alone you don't have to have a soothsayer to say that to you. From August, the only reason, because if the agreement is not accepted, yes, but because in diplomacy, the right of the receiving country got the right to not respond to the agreement. If that is done within maybe 60 to 90 days, it is clear that they're not going to accept you. Meaning, it's another way of rejecting you. But in diplomacy, they will not come outrightly to reject you. But immediately the name is sent to them to do the revision of it. They got the right to, if they don't respond in the affirmative, meaning if it took 2-3 months, maximum 90 days, you should know that, hey, they're not going to do what you do as the president, you withdraw the nomination. That is the clear diplomatic way to do it. He was appointed August to now. So it's not an issue of that receiving country. We, the sending country, already did our part. The receiving country did not reject or object the nomination, meaning he needed not to move to the Liberian Senate for his confirmation. My suspicion here is there was a problem in the Senate, people fighting his nomination to not get on the floor so that he wouldn't get nominated. From August to now, I mean, trust me, man, it was quite unfortunate to the guy. He fought also hard to come, and he went against his personal friend. The relationship between he and Myean went terrible. It went very terrible. We know that when he went quarter, he was someone that used to normally go the ways, and it went that way. He was nominated from that time. So if the agreement was not rejected by the Italian government, then you needed this to happen, and you didn't confirm me. I believe, again, one would say, because if you saw me from this kind of a thing, you're under tremendous pressure. It got the way of exacerbating your health condition, all those things. So listen, I understand the feeling of the folks from Garguah. The Garguahans, this position, this matter cannot be, and no one should take it lightly. And I understand one of their sons, a very competent son, is no more, but the way they treated him and the explanation. Now, I want to also agree with that portion of the release that the Minister of Foreign Affairs may have said this to him, that the Kingdom of Belgium post, because that's a very powerful post. Anybody want to serve as an ambassador, the Kingdom of Belgium. That's the reason why he was deployed since 2016, late 2015, up to the end of the Myean administration. So do the math, right? So do the math how long he spent in Brussels. And he came back to even lobby. Part of the reason why he even went to Canada to even lobby with their administration to come back as ambassador in Brussels. Because you are not only the ambassador to the Kingdom of Belgium, you are also serving a concomitant role in all of the EU countries and certain other EU countries. So you should know the power of that. So you engage that of powerful stakeholders across the world, if you will. So now they rejected, they sent Ambassador Levi Dima. He's already on post. He was sent to Rome, and the old man in Rome is not okay. There's time I went to Rome. I knew very well the old man is old. He's been in diplomacy for a protracted period of time. Now, Joshua he died very young. He died very young, he didn't even reach 50 years, right? So he died very, very young, if you will. So, but again, we ought not to understand our country. We went through some crisis in Liberia. It's about time. If you can't allow the man to serve, give reason why you deny him on competent ground or credential fraud, all those things. But you cannot stop someone. So the Liberian Senate will have to come. And it is true. The Garguahans should stand their ground. And they should stand their ground and use this politically and unite on this one. If it is established that they struck this guy from this for the frustration and let him to fund some of these things, if they just stop his confirmation process, held it. Mr. Gayman is forward. I would even reject it and move on. From August to this time, it's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, you know, Mr. Gayman.
Tomalin, I mean, listen, when I read the conversation between the minister proper and him, and for his nomination to be languishing in the Senate for 9 months without even getting on the floor, I mean that's unheard of.
Yeah, Solon and I were very close, so I was trying to bring Solon on the show, and I think a couple of weeks ago, and he said, and he was expressing his frustration but he did tell me that he received an agreement from the King of Belgium, but then people said, I want to believe what that particular part that said they had a conversation with him. I believe so. But I know he was due to go to Belgium, but I thought they thought that it was so a big role for him. Perhaps when he first as ambassador, maybe that's why he didn't deploy him. But then Italy came about. But then it was being delayed. The confirmation was being delayed. He told me, they said that when they come from break, they break they came from now the emergency break. So they come from this break they were on. He was going to his nomination would have gone for confirmation, but he was frustrated, and I can tell he was frustrated that I called him. I was joking. I was teasing. I said, "My man, when I saw the ambassador thing, they're gonna push you. You're gonna get it." He said, I come here. He said, I come here your show. I come in there. I come in. He said, yeah, give me time, you know. So I think he was building it up. End of the day, he found out that they were playing games with him. He was going to just blow up. And again, to end on this, it's not a good thing for the government. Prince Johnson died because he was depressed. He cried on this government. I talked to the old man too one time, and he told me, he said, and last say he told me, he said, Liberia is on a stormy sea. Yeah, on a stormy sea. But well, he said we will get there, but we are watching from afar. Or last time he said me. But when I talked to him one time, he has some tough thing to say, and he regretted that. It's like saying, I better deal with the devil I know than the angel I've not seen. Yeah, I think he regretted that he should have stopped with the CDC because they took him, they fulfilled the promises to him. Because I was told that during the administration of President Weah, every assignment in Nima, the vice president and Prince Johnson, they recommended to President Weah and he appointed them. The superintendent, the mayors, everything. Once they sent it to President Weah, he honored it. So, but when the time came and he said he wanted to meet with the main players, making a demand, and he couldn't fulfill his demand, he got mad too quick too, and he ran to the other side and thought the other side would have. So he said, "No." Even he said, "Can you imagine? We went to the United Nations." He said, talk about when I asked him a work around code, he just play with it. He said, "Oh look, we're gonna look into it." But he said, "But it man put me my own begin when all that side. They put me for work around court, and you know, and he was depressed." But it's not a good thing for people that supported this government to come to power. They're falling apart. Look at John Malu. Malu was on spoon raising money for these guys. He raising money. I'm one time watching the show. But raising money, raise a lot of money. And then today, Kamara now, I think they see there's another target too. They're going after him too. And you see, and people it's not a good thing. If people support you, I'm not saying that you guys cannot break up, but for the fun people that really were involved with you and you're pushing them aside, it's not a good thing. I hope they're taking note, but apparently it seems as though they are not bothered about what's happening. So,
well, Victor, my own sister in the Senate, Yobi Kanga, I mean, please, 9 months without putting this on the agenda. I mean, come on now. Look at the amount of people that show up for confirmation every day.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Don't you show the committee chair should put on the agenda.
Yeah, well, but come on now. Come on now. Yeah. And you know what I'm talking about, okay? Yeah. You the boss here. They say I don't want to see that thing. I want to see it. But if this thing like Levi Dima, right? Levi Dima is a stalwart of the Liberty Party. I mean, when he was superintendent, I used to meet with him. This man and Brodsky and the Unity Party business, you know, nothing you can say. So, okay, he has served in many roles, and they say, you know what? George Soros have not served. It would be a first time around ambassador. Maybe the European Union is not the place to go.
Right.
Fine, we give it to Levi Dima because he's been ambassador to Japan, all the other stuff. So this will be your promotion for him. Now your entry level will be either Nigeria or Italy.
No, so, Levi was not ambassador proper. He was DCM.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, but he has some experience in that area. Mm-hmm. So for him, it would be a promotion, right? So here we are. He accepted the Italy thing since August. And my sister and Dylan, they have not had the courage to say, listen, man, you know, this guy been hanging around for 9 months. It's time for us to elevate the team and get it out of. But it just had him in limbo. And like Pewee saying, you cannot have anything more disturbing than being in limbo. You know, I'd rather they deny me than just for me to everywhere you go there. I mean, when you go, man, who are you? You know, for 9 months.
Yeah.
The pressure alone. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, we know the Fadiga brother comes to mind as well. I think he had the same situation with France, I believe. He was being sent there, I think, as the publicity sector, press secretary or something like that to the embassy. And I think, as Sylvester calls it, the Agromant 2 may have been denied by France.
Yeah, France denied that, but that I know.
Right. And so ever since then, I think Fadiga has been, yeah.
My said you're on your own. Here
But
we
he's
go.
not alone, even though we heard that Garguah may be accommodating him through some consultancy. But yeah, I think you make a good point. You remember in the early days of this government, I think it took them over 6 months to get their appointment business, straight. We heard that the pro tem and Senator Dillon were the ones who were dictating, to the president, how to. In fact, you remember the president practically outsourced the nomination and vetting at the same time to the two of them, basically, the rescue lawmakers. So you have a legitimate concern. You would think this should be easier for Senator Lawrence to push, but I have absolutely nothing to offer on that. I don't move in her orbit. Uh, so I don't know how she does her work, but I can also tell you that there are a lot of people in the rescue government who have a very dim view of her performance. They make it very public that they think that she could do better. But I'll pass it back to you. I'm just as concerned and flabbergasted as to the kinds of things that she will prioritize and those that she shouldn't be prioritizing. You find her, prioritizing those.
Fanta, these are the things that, for people to use their position of power to suppress other folks. Listen, you want to deny the man, deny him. Listen, you can't go, but to leave him in limbo for that 9 months. Today, 9 months. Your wife, your children, the CDC that he left. I mean, everybody is after him for 9 months. Actually, it was way before that because they had contemplated nominating him way back in June. And then when that fell through, they finally made the announcement in August. Up to today, 9 months. Like the old man said, no hay, no tea. You call people, nobody know where your file is. Or they will tell you, like Pewee said, it's in committee room. Your take on how we treat each other in that country.
Yeah, I think it's quite unfortunate because when we look at the numbers, I think a lot of time people play politics with people's lives, not understanding the implications. For them, it is just business as usual for whatever reason, whatever score they're trying to settle. And I don't. To say it's unfortunate is truly an understatement because the outcome of that is detrimental. When we look at just the statistics, 1 in 3 deaths are linked to NCDs, non-communicable diseases. Like heart disease, high blood pressure, and which are exacerbated by chronic stress. So you thinking, oh, I'm just going to do this and not fully understanding is causing chronic stress to someone else that could result in heart disease, heart failure, heart attack, pressure, high blood pressure. These things have consequences. You also have PTSDs. The fact that you will prolong someone's appointment or gratification that this person is desperately seeking causes PTSD. So I think I don't even know if it's possible to say this. We should declare stress, or chronic stress, as a pandemic or health pandemic in Liberia because they're going to say they don't have any funding for that or to create awareness minimally around how these things lead to much bigger consequences for a people who have no value for life, who have no value for health, who have no value for welfare. How do you get them to connect the dots? It is nearly impossible. So time and time again, you see all of these studies that points to the detriment of stress that we overlook. And yet we don't seem to understand the consequences, and therefore we are dismissive of our actions, of our contributions towards that result for someone else. And if you were to charge us, we'd be completely removed. Look, we just saw a report come out not too long ago that over 600,000 Liberians are living with mental, neurological, or substance use disorder and stress. We haven't even derived any mechanism to address that. How is that any different from 600,001, or just by adding like another one to it, unfortunately, or he happens to be a political player? You know, everyday Liberians are dealing with the frustration, the letdowns, the disappointment. They're disenfranchised and they get dismissed and they die. They die at such young ages. I mean, you see how that young lady looked who was crushing rock for such a young, beautiful girl. She's probably still in her teens and she looks like she's in her mid-30s. You see women who are 30 years old and they look like they're 60 years old. Men who are 40 years old look like they're 70 years old. This is from chronic stress that are tied to economic or economical disparities. And it's just another list of our problems, list added to our problems. And unfortunately, we cannot connect the dots, or our leaders cannot connect the dots and take some of these things very seriously. We will chalk it to, you just frustrated the man. But if you understood the ramifications of that frustration, perhaps you take it a bit more seriously. And you're right. Why make someone wait for 9 months for a position? If you're not going to give it, just say, I'm not going to give it to you. Perhaps they meant to punish him. They meant to prove a point. And that's why you can't stay silent on these things. How long was he willing to wait for? 1 year? 2 years? Speak up, and speak up early.
Honorable Pewee, you live in Liberia. We all been around. Liberia is a very expensive place to live. And you know, you have a family, you got, I mean, the place is hard to be out of work and just hanging around for 9 months. Liberia is a very expensive place to live. If you want to live a decent life, like, you know, everybody you are accustomed to, it's a difficult place to live.
Yeah, but I think he just went there recent time. But yeah, but I agree in principle. It is somehow difficult to live, and more or less, if you know, it's a country that got this we got this dependency syndrome, and so more or less, if you're moving in to live, you're not going, and you ought to live comfortably. You ought to prepare to live comfortably and help other family members and friends that will see you as a means of survival, also, so that they will benefit from your largesse also. So you have to take into consideration that your own personal upkeep to be at this standard, the standard you live here, and for a movie you have to do with personal family, close families and friends and relative, distant relative, and the rest of that, and friends also. So it is actually, from that perspective, I agree with you. And unlike here, everybody is moving on their own. I mean, time they will meet, not water bottle together, glasses and eating, but you know one's going to call you every day. I'm not going to call you. I said, Jeremy, not easy with the day. Not style, you know.
I mean, you leaving your boy? Or?
Yeah, boy. or not come Mr. Navi say, Papi, anything for taking money, So it's not going to be that way here. But all back home, if you are to learn, if they know that you're in the country and for some reason, if you hit and they just see you move forward, those of us that will move on the ground, our friends will call, then we appear on the radio station, other thing, boom, then outside your yard will be packed with friends, relatives, and other things. It's some normal scenario, right? You see someone beginning to meet them, the first thing they will say, Bobby, the day, we know how to start the day. Imagine, it's troubling. They don't even know how the day is going to start. Then you appoint the man and a lot of things unfold in terms of committee confirmations in Liberia. And that's one of the things I would say. If I'm the president, I agree. The job it's a way and pleasure job. You are being appointed, right? So if the Senate, and sometimes you can't necessarily hold the presidency responsible for that because it is constitutional. Yeah. So with the consent of the Senate, if the president does his part, then, but again, let me say this: African politics is also, it can also happen that today President Trump withdrew the nomination of the Surgeon General and renominated another Surgeon General, right? So, but again, it's possible that the executive can be in cahoots with certain Senate top right, say, hey, we just want to get this man off our back. We will nominate him, but play some tactics and frustrate him. That is possible. I've seen that happen in the politics of Africa.
Absolutely.
It's possible also. Did the presidency play a role in frustrating Joshua to not get confirmed? Now, Senator Darius Abraham Dillon is a very influential and powerful senator in the current Liberian Senate. He got a very personal relationship with the pro tem of the Senate.
And the president.
And the president. Personal relationship with the president and the president pro tempore. And that relationship is very intimate between the two powerful individuals, the president and that of the Senate. So it is possible that, I mean, you didn't tell us. If I know very well, they don't love to be on the camera. If George Soros didn't have the credential, the requisite credential to go, because, and to be an ambassador, there's nothing, basically, it's with the will and pledge of the president will appoint via Article 54 of the Constitution. And they also serve, though they are ambassadors, they serve at the will and pledge of the president, 56. But here's why. If there's anything that these people needed to have to deny him for that long time, they will have published it. They will have said, they made degree is not clear, or he lied, or he
he's a smart, now the guy's brilliant.
Yes, right? They would have said that. But to keep someone for 9 months, from August, and all other ambassadors were appointed along with George Soros, they've all been confirmed.
Yeah.
And posted. Now they confirmed, posted, and they've submitted their credentials to the receiving countries. And they are now operating in their capacity as ambassador, extraordinary, and plenipotentiary. Some of them charge affairs and the rest of that. So what did he do so much? Or what happened to his credentials? So, I mean, there's a need for explanation. And I like what the Grandian said. And I mean, they should take it seriously. You only treat one of our own this way. And unfortunately, the guy was up and down. He had gone back. He was there recently for some time. And then he got frustrated. He was on his way back to the U.S. Unfortunately, he met his demise. He met his demise under kind of a circumstances, particularly airborne, right? And the thing hit him in a very unfortunate area that it was not okay for him. Unfortunately, he's no more. Now, what's the lesson learned in this issue? Even recently, there was a heated argument between the pro tem and one of the senators, right? About the confirmation. She was trying to hold the confirmation of the current minister of local government. But I knew very well that she couldn't continue on that because the president interest. She didn't want him confirmed. So I should be blamed. That was a
since you are in the sphere of the local government, what happened to your man Majabate? Does he have a job or does he not?
Majabate too live in limbo. The message.
I mean, you started laughing. That's why I'm laughing. This is a serious.
They put that breaching on me now. Majabate, the news this Majabate just living. I don't see where. Again, government is big. I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to speculate. Their government is very big. They may find somewhere to just trunk in later on. Right. But that minister of local government, I don't think there's space for him now. And I think that's the reason why I don't want to hate him. He's a friend. He's a brother. He's a Liberian brother. He's not my friend. I don't want to turn it up. He's a brother because we all are Liberians. But I thought they needed. He did some work for them politically. And then when we were, there was a time he told me, say, "Oh, man, you from Lofa, Papa from Lofa, what you can support?" I told him, I sat with him across the table. I said, "Listen, supporting someone politically for me it should not be on the basis of trap or basis of regional connections."
Right.
So I said to him, the reason I love to push leaders that I believe that I can be inspired by, I would do things, and I'm not just going to do that. And then he started saying, okay, to the extent that even Fagon, one of those that when the election results started coming up, I can remember before even getting on the flight, right for the election, I was on the flight going to France. When I landed Charles de Gaulle, I just opened my phone, I saw a message say, yeah. And you voted against your uncle, you were suffering opposition.
You were suffering.
Yeah, I can always say to them, but what man seen that kind of thing? And look, at that time, I was just about to tell the guy to give me a bottle of
Jing Jan, I don't get a Chinese drink.
I said anyway. Then I told him,
change it to a shot. Give him one shot.
I did. The only thing I told him, the response, I still got in my phone. I said, I don't have 4 AA.
That's right.
That was all, and I stopped. I said I don't have 4 AA, but again, that's the kind of a thing that I can move on in the country often, and that's the line. People support people basically because they want a job, and if those things happen, and I will tell everybody, we all should learn, Mr. Gayman, to learn to be. Other than that, a lot of people are dying in Liberia for the same thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people are waiting to be appointed. They are not appointed. Some of them just get started with worries or not. They just go for a year proof. They drop the die. A lot of people, a lot of folks. So listen, those of us that will prepare ourselves, get prepared to do a lot of things. If you are prepared, well educated, apply to some of the university, you get something to survive. You ought to pay your children's school fees. You ought to feed your family. Get engaged into other things. Think outside the box. Be creative. Spark some innovative measures that can allow you to move and live and be independent if you are in Liberia.
To your point, right, Sylvester, I think especially the late George Solo, the circumstances under which he left, and to support the rescue team, I think, job and all of that, but I think some amount of gratitude, and yes, the president did appoint him or designate him
to clear his side.
To clear his side, yeah. Yeah, but because his defection, that man was one time chairman of the CDC.
Yeah, powerful chairman.
Exactly. And to have left all of that behind and jump ship to support the rescue team, you would, like you're saying, 9 months in limbo. I think that was really that. Yeah, some. I don't know. I just think they could have gone a little bit beyond that and shown him some gratitude. If we don't speak ill of the dead. But if you remember, in maybe 6 months or so, he was in the news, right? Involved with some kind of international investor, where and to I guess to reiterate the hustle that Jerome is talking about, to be in Liberia Monrovia without a job it is very hard, very difficult. I know that. I went to school in Monrovia. I live in Monrovia, got married in Monrovia, worked in Monrovia for a while before I came over here. If you are in Monrovia
and you fled Monrovia,
okay, you don't want that. You don't want to know that. And I fled Monrovia.
Shout to the red here on Monrovia.
But Monrovia is very hard.
No, it's a serious thing.
Look, Victor and I were in Monrovia and we went to where they were stopping, right? And they got, I think like $1,000 a week or something, $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. And I said, who in the world will pay this?
So look at the condition currently now. The guy that were pressing the feed, they say the LEC is super. The wet chicken, country chicken.
Yeah.
You know about the wet chicken parable in the Liberia panel. What did you say?
When you press
the wet chicken.
Remind
It was in Liberia. When you press it, it will wait for everybody in the town square
They jump in
look where they got the pit that they can do the oil in, right?
Right.
They're running, go there, boom.
Not only jump there, but then you kind of shake.
It was shaking.
And dead all of y'all, and dead everybody.
That's what happened. Imagine you back home in Liberia.
So
you got a house, and and Mr. Gayman, you want to tell me no LEC. And you come from the camp, no LEC. Then you go live in a house at the kind of time, hot. Then you look, you don't have something, and someone you see the mosquito will infiltrate somehow. Then we see me, whoa. Imagine. So to live where you need to have, Mr. Number, you're right. It is difficult to live there if you don't have.
It is difficult.
If you want to be comfortable, or like they have to live that way now. That's very expensive. You have to buy a generator. You have to do this to be comfortable in your car. You got to buy gas. And almost gas you buying, like if you want to go around and use AC in your car, you're using a $20 gas every day.
Oh, look. I think when I took the Hummer to the gas station.
Like gas guzzler there.
The guy said, the thing just kept going and going and going. He said, but boss, it's 27 gallons.
It's going. Then you fill your pocket, you fill your wallet small.
It went to 35 gallons. Then he said 35. When you came out, I said, what? He said,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's difficult. It's just very difficult. And then when you go into sit with your friends, I'm not saying it to say things. That's a regular social thing. If you go in down, for instance, when the note that you keep on here or you have somehow to do, you can afford. Yeah. You go in to sit with friends. Yeah, Mr. Nagbe back. You're going to sit with them. Every time you're going to meet, you need to have not less than 150, 200 in your pocket.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And those are people that will manage.
Yeah.
If you want to turn around, that is the debt about 150, 200, 250. You should expect that to something. Somebody you got to get some your friends something, man. Not easy.
Pay my way or drive me home, and you wait. So the thing was, what happened? And I'm trying to get rid of the car now. I left the car.
Ricky, you're asking you.
Yeah. I left the car with her, right? The kids took the car.
I saw the car, Sylvester. He has a park. His nephew was using that. Sorry.
They took the car, went and they couldn't afford gas. They went and bought gas from the street in the how they call it, in the bottle.
Yeah.
And they put that thing in the car. It almost blew the engine. So they took it and parked it. They didn't say anything until we took it to the American shop, and they told us you got to take down the tank because what they put in here is not. It's like fuel oil mixed with gas. So the car is parked in the garage. Once in a while, I tell the kids to drive it around, to start it. But it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. So Liberia is a very, very expensive place. Look, Pewee enters Liberia. I don't know how they find out that you are there. Even if you don't call anybody, so you get in town.
Somebody will see you enter your yard. But again, let Kennedy honestly that we are not saying that. We're not saying here, Mr. Kennedy, that
Grisha Kennedy. That's my bastard girl. We grew up together in Buchanan. Don't mind her. She's
okay, Miss Kennedy. We are not saying here that the Senate didn't told him not to go to hospital. We understand this. What we're saying sometimes these things just trigger and further exacerbate the condition or whatsoever. We're not saying that. You are a fellow human. If one were to treat you or treat your relative that way, I want to believe. If it was in that way, the other way around, you would have been sympathetic towards him. We didn't say that he knew he had diabetics or diabetes or so, or he was diabetic whatsoever. We don't know yet because we didn't see it. It was just speculation or what. We didn't see the medical report. But I agree to that. It's not the Senate. But what we're trying to say is that the way they treated him, to hold the young man for 9 months, and all the other people that were appointed along with him got confirmed. That's our position here. It's not that we're trying to say, so I know you may say we should speak with sense. I know people will not make sense to you, but yeah, that's what, just put this man, just consider the man your brother or a relative to you. How will you have responded to his demise under this kind of circumstances?
Listen, Pewee.
We respect you as a follower, but I just want you to sit down and reflect on that, Mama. On a serious
Pewee.
Go ahead, Chief.
Grisha Talker, Nyobli Kanga, me, Dilo, that's the Basa connection. So,
I see. So she's backing it up. You see, I highlighted this for that reason. I didn't want to say it.
I didn't say anything. I read it. I didn't say anything because no. How can you say we are insinuating that the Senate didn't make him go to the hospital. Who is saying that? You gotta be
that.
But Jerome, we can even make the argument that they did, because to go to the hospital and pay a hospital bill, you gotta have a job.
Yeah, a contributing factor to his death.
Exactly. Yeah, the stress alone, you know. So
and then he have a job. He was not taking pay. He was there every day, spending small money. He took money, carry everything. Finished. He was paying to go to the hospital. He was coming out to go to the hospital. Unfortunately, he might hit the mass.
Wait, Mr. Gayman, can we talk about the Cassell's response today?
I was just coming to it. He read my mind.
Look at that. Tell us.
These are the two headlines coming out of Liberia. That's Raji and Mr. Cole. Yes, yes. And then yesterday, we had this headline. Can you see it?
You definitely need sharing rights. We need.
Yes. No. The reason is that before I come, I do my homework and I do everything and I do this. So because the topics are so many, I don't know whether they can even follow through. But yeah, yesterday the headline in the papers in Liberia was criminal conviction bars core as LFA committee unveil final candidate list. That was the. Then today on Front Page Africa, he fires back and he says, and this one says, LFA election appended. Kasser Core disqualified. Mustafa Raji set to run unopposed for second term. I thought this was his third term, but they said no, this is his second term. So I made whatever mistake that I made here, think that he was going for his third term. I stand to be corrected, or I am corrected. If the Front Page Africa story is right, then I want to send my apology to Mr. Raji. He wasn't going for a third term, and I said he was going for a third term, and that I frown on anybody going for the third term. But I heard this is the second term that he was going for.
No, Mr. Gayman, like if the terms are 4 years, this is his third term since 2018. No?
No, this is his second term.
So he was elected in 2018. How long are the terms?
I don't know how long he's been there, but according to the paper, well, let me read it here and see. It said upcoming Liberian Football Association LFA election has taken a dramatic turn after the LFA election committee disqualified key presidential candidate Kasser A. Cole, effectively leaving incumbent President Mustafa Raji as the sole candidate in the race. The committee final list of qualified candidates for the 2026 elected Congress confirmed that 27 out of the 29 aspirants met the eligibility requirements. However, Cole's exclusion, while it seemed a Raji's strongest challenge, has all but decided the presidential contest before a vote is even cast. Cole barred over statutory integrity clause. According to the Elections Committee, Cole was declared ineligible under Article 45.4 and 58.1 of the LFA Statute 2018 as amended, which prohibited individuals with prior criminal conviction from contesting leadership positions within the association. In its official ruling, the committee stressed that the integrity provisions are strict and leave no room for exception. Personal rehabilitation, however commendable, does not override the statutory integrity requirement, the committee chairman states. Cole reportedly acknowledged his prior conviction during the vetting process. A disclosure supported by public records, the committee said a decision was based solely on the legal framework of the LFA and consistent with FIFA and CAF governance standards on ethical leadership. Chaired by Councillor Neo, the committee emphasized that its role was strictly to enforce existing statute governing candidates' eligibility, including age, nationality, residency, educational qualifications, football, administration experience, and integrity standards. The committee further clarified that any legal challenge to constitutionality of these provisions must be pursued through the Supreme Court of Liberia. So Cole said he does not recognize this ruling and he's going directly to the Supreme Court. So this is where we are. Fanta, Mr. Cole says he's going to see this. To his logical conclusion, he's going to the Supreme Court. And some folks are saying, well, if you don't follow the procedure, because there are 2 other steps you got to do before you go to the Supreme Court. If you go directly to the Supreme Court will send you back here, and the election is on the 15th of the month. So from today, we got exactly 14 more days for the election. So what do you think how do you think this is going to end, and what do you think he should do, Fanta? You are muted.
I think he should stand his ground. Look, Mr. Gayman, if we're going to discourage this type of rigging from happening in what is supposed to be democratic institutions, if they're going to de-democratize these systems, we also have to approach this, take this from a very unconventional methods to resolve them. You cannot expect, the law doesn't work for you, but it works for someone else. How can you call this a democratic process? And this will be his 3rd term that he is pursuing.
Yeah, somebody just put in the comment section that he's going on his 3rd term, but this is his 2nd on the post.
Okay, still 3rd term.
It's still 3rd.
Yeah, it's the 3rd term. Whether the one is that's just a confusion. This is not a democratic process. They have rigged this process time and time again. How is it that you have someone of all the football stakeholders? Are you telling me that no one else wants to be president of the LFA, that only Mustafa Raji wants to continue to hold on to power for 3 terms, 12 years? 12 years? There's nobody else. All those who own football clubs, FC this and FC that. No one has interest. I also saw, I think we were discussing yesterday, there was someone else who applied and also got rejected.
Keita, yes, Keita.
Sekou Keita. A brilliant young man. Why was he not given the opportunity? He doesn't have any criminal record.
No, they said you got to be nominated by a stakeholder, and he was nominated, but the person didn't have voting rights, so he was disqualified.
See, this is how they manipulate their statutes, their laws, what have you. How can you say a stakeholder, but then you say the person didn't have voting right? So is it a stakeholder with voting right, and is that stipulated, or it just says stakeholder? And then the nomination happens. I'm sure if it was written in the qualifications, nomination has to be by a stakeholder with voting rights.
Mm-hmm.
You think the person that's going to contest will not ensure that that stakeholder did indeed have voting rights?
1 minute. Let me hear you read that. Your name and where you calling from?
Kehleboe Gongloe, still a Pennsylvania, in the city of brotherly love.
Okay.
I just want to make a quick comment on this. My first comment, you guys from CMC, I see you in the studio, but I see honorability down Philadelphia, shaking hands with people. I don't know what Victor is doing there. I didn't even know honorability was in town.
Why were you there? He's a lot.
Also, you think Victor is being kept incommunicado?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not going to go there with politics.
No, not politics. Now, what you bring? Are you scared to say?
Musa Bellet is a Liberian, and he's from Nima. And why you not there?
Man, Kehleboe troublemaker. He trying to bring out. He trying to say, Nagbe is kept in. Go ahead.
Pewee, I'm in my car. I need to speak. Be respectful.
Okay, Chief. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get dressed and I'm gonna go find my secretary brother, the guy who is achieving and setting a pace in Liberian politics. Today in Lima County at the Lima University campus, he settled the scholarship arrears, the tuition arrears of the 7 students. And he's setting a pace that only any leader who wanted the presidency before, okay? I'm not a CNC member, but I'm just a brother to Musa Ability, that's all. On the Musa Raji team, FIFA is a corrupt organization. FIFA is a dictatorship organization. Election at the national level in FIFA is not decided by club members. It's actually decided by CAF president or FIFA president. If someone wants to be president of a local organization, they have to determine what is your relationship with CAF president. Are you going to support that CAF president to be president again? Or are you going to be supporting the guy in Zurich, in Switzerland, to succeed himself? Those are things to look at. Musa Raji is locked in with CAF presidency. He's locked in with FIFA president. Period. Do what you do. Even if you go to coach, once you go to coach, you say this, they will say, okay, FIFA is banning Liberia from participation. You don't touch that election because they are dictatorship organization. That's all I can say to him.
Who made it to our same point?
Yeah.
Mr. Bomb Thrower, stay on the line. Let me answer your question.
Yeah, wait, what happened to Mr. Nagbe?
He took Jerome down with him.
He disconnected himself.
Maybe Jerome may have touched something. He went off.
Yeah, but he does make a point, though. I mean, I was on here, like I said, talking about, but the way the whole thing is going, it really, really does. I have a very bad feeling. How can you disqualify all of the opposing candidates? Unfrivolous to me, really. And in this day and age, for someone to be so powerful to do this as big as LFA is, LFA is not a small organization.
FIFA didn't root to this kind of a thing.
Yeah, I'm just really disappointed. I don't know. And I hope.
But Victor, come on, be honest. What's going on in your own country?
Well, I see what but that Banturo who was on the phone there telling him I'm coming to Philadelphia.
You got rid of your speaker. The Supreme Court said you can't do it. You did it. You got rid of all the other bills. They're not the FIFA you will be talking about.
It's the Wild West. So
I can't people you're not the same people. But why you put
wait before you go there, I beg. It's the Wild West. So Cassell have to take these people to task. Okay? Because look, not because of one chat. Mustafa Raji cannot hijack Liberia Football Association. No matter if he has to support a FIFA, it's going to take someone like Kasako to disrupt that system. And he has to do it. He cannot take a conventional route. It's not going to work. Yeah, go to the court as a check in the box exercise. But unless you disrupt this madness, it's going to continue. And they're going to change the rule again.
How are you going to do it?
That's the question.
How will he do it? You say, why?
He will figure it out. He will figure it out.
He should come out gun blazing. Boom, boom, boom.
He will figure it out. Figure it out. And I will support him in that. No, not because of him, but because we have to set a precedent. We are seeing this look, we are seeing the degradation of all of our systems, all of our institutes. Who is going to stand up to be that one person to say, no, with this system, with this institution, it's not going to happen? Who's going to be that one person? And it happens if it's going to be the LFA, we have to support them. It's not because of Casa Quo. We talk about democracy. But if we're just, if we can only advocate for democracy in the mouth or as lip service, then who are we? We too are complicit in the abuse of the very democratic systems we're looking to protect. We cannot just lend lip service to these things. So look, if someone is going to manipulate the system, you cannot approach that person in a sensible manner. So if Mustafa Raji, irrespective, being backed by FIFA, I know he's backed by other football stakeholders in Liberia. And if that's the case, and they cannot put some sense into his head to go for 12 years, one person, it's ridiculous, guys. Forget about Casa Quo. So if Casa Quo is the sacrificial lamb, we should support him. We should support him. It's wrong. Look at Sekou Keita. Sekou Keita currently works for this government, doing something like, I think, with the technology. There's a man who spent all his life in Maryland, left his life, came to Liberia,
to contribute to the rehabilitation of his country. And even him, without any criminal record, he's being pushed out because the person that nominated him was not a voting stakeholder. Is that stipulated in your statute? And if it is, was it mandated? Was it?
According to their statute, that's what it is. But I think I would advise.
They're manipulating the laws and the rules to fit their narrative. And it's high time somebody stand up to them. So I will support Mokoko standing up to them in any way, shape, or form.
I agree. I think the young man has that. The thing is, if he has some resources, you need to take this thing on the national level. I mean, the international level. But because of his criminal record, and he can't come to the States, he can't do other stuff, it would be almost impossible to win. But I think if he wants to be a change agent, he needs to now fund an organization, find somebody to be in the forefront and push for the changes that he desires. And the way to do that is by putting them on full blast. But if you want to fight them like he's doing on the ground locally, this is going, because he's going to the Supreme Court. Someone here said, Ms. Yakpa said that she's hoping that the Supreme Court will put a stay order on this. But based on what I'm hearing and the way this thing is rating, I don't think the Supreme Court is going to put a stay order. And they got 14 days. So from now, I don't know whether the Supreme Court will be able to fast track his case ahead of everybody else who's trying to get on the docket.
They have to, Mr. Nagbe, because this is a precedent. This is going to be like a precedent case. And I see, like, Pewee, like, you don't always have to copy me. Like, you could have, like, why? When did you start drinking tea? I don't understand. Now all of a sudden you have a white mug, like trying to copy me.
I know, Jerome. I see you.
You know, yesterday you didn't see me with anything yet. You didn't see it yesterday, and you didn't have it yesterday. I brought it yesterday.
No, like I'm a trendsetter.
Pewee got a. Pewee got a. You got a bucket. Yours the tea you got on is a bucket. Have you seen this woman? Have you seen her teacup?
You left the show yesterday before the two of them got together.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the big. She has one that is running
her campaign.
And you know, we started drinking tea. We started drinking tea way back. You know,
when you're younger than everybody. Way back.
And you know how they can drink that tea? In the beach on the.
I ain't gonna put t-shirts, okay, you know.
Well, I go for a shop. We have to have inquiry man. They got ready to visit tea, right? Big bucket.
Yeah.
They want.
But you know, Sylvester, we used to soak the bread in the tea. You know,
yeah, we baptize the bread, the fuller bread. You put it in, you eat it, or the fatty bread. Listen, the thing is, the bread had no name, right? It was either fatty or fuller.
I don't fatty bread or fuller bread.
Bread has a name.
Yeah, and the two bread you can really enjoy the tea. The fatty bread and the fuller bread. The fatty bread was soaked. When you're doing that, it start draining through your hair.
They got go there.
The Congo boys look at the country boys. You don't know
you know what they missing.
Look at the country boy. But Mr. Gayman, on a serious note,
the Congo boys say the less short bread.
Yeah. Short bread, lonely bread. Yeah, short bread on the bread, put in this.
Oh, bread, man.
Oh, man.
We the country, but we had a long one. You gotta take the fuller bread. The fuller bread, you dip it in this.
I mean, we don't say dip. We say dunk it. You dunk it in there.
Yeah, the Congo boy will dip it. But on a serious note, Mr. Nagbe and Mr. Gayman, everybody on. There's a need to change the system. Kassia Coke alone cannot run the FA.
That's what I'm saying, yes.
It is. No, I'm sorry. Mustafa Raji, rather.
Raji,
Cannot. This is not. And every time the guy went for the presidency, he won on the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very unusual.
I mean, this is unusual.
Yeah.
He went on the post all of the time. Yeah. Okay, I agree you had problem with Kaseko. Granted. But what happened to Keita?
What about Keita? Yeah.
What happened to Keita?
No,
I
just told you what's wrong with Keita.
What's wrong with Keita?
Keita was nominated by a regular person, and this is not a regular club. You need.
I know he was nominated by a stakeholder, someone who owns a team. So that wasn't even the case.
But Fanta, you're not getting this thing.
Have you seen the campaign?
You're not the right person to nominate.
In Uganda, right? And you're right. I agree to that. When Bobby Wine is ready to go campaign, they say, okay, Bobby Wine is leaving from Kampala to go to the other big city, right?
They'll start fixing the road.
The police will close the whole road. They say they'll go close the road. Probably will close the road, right? The Bobby Wine will say they will find means and use the longest bypass. Then they will still go close outside. Then when he found me, found Bobby get there. I see he really they arrest him. So I mean, and the guy. Told him, the young guy, you will try.
No. This is sad.
African politics.
The bill will be packed. Hundreds of thousands of people. When you look for you can't stop putting tear gas. They say the environment too okay, they need to spray.
I mean, Sylvester, look at what happened in Bulgaria recently.
Yes.
Those people, they're like, oh, but they let it, at least they try, you know? Orban being there, what, 16 years or so?
No, that Bulgaria, Hungary,
right? Huh?
Yeah.
This guy, you know, the guy came and beat him square and fair, you know.
Yeah, Hungary.
But look what happened in Tanzania.
Yeah, 8%.
Yeah, that lady. Can you imagine a woman?
But you know that lady you said she got one of the dictators in our region.
Some women are too corrupt.
The lady said she won 98 points. She says she should
have you seen her recent convoy? That thing that came on the Spirit of Hormones thing. She said because of gas, she want bring public sentiment and she reduce it. The woman got 33 cars convoy.
Jesus.
She is corrupt.
Imagine she took over from a man that was very straightforward and put into place. Unfortunately, he got died by COVID. Yeah. That man was one of the champions of Africa.
Yeah.
He was true patriot, true Pan-Africanist. But unfortunately, but the lady that was expected she would do more.
Yeah.
She don't take progress out. She can
she locked all the opposition up.
You know, so
she locked all the opposition.
The only person that is sensible right now is the president of Namibia. At least she's trying. That's why you can't
that woman is something else. She is.
But the best African president for me, and I know if they were to take a vote in Africa, he will win it. Is the guy from Botswana.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the guy from South Sudan.
No, the guy from Botswana.
South Sudan, no way.
The guy from Botswana, the man said he said he got a hell to do.
Yeah,
who from his party, who not from his party.
Yeah,
this is the last time. The man said, hey, I'm going to appoint people that I believe that are competent. If you vote against me, if you are competent, I will give you the job. To hell with my people in my party.
Yeah.
He said, get the job done for Botswanans. And the man said, the man pushed the budget up big time. The guy's doing good, man. The guy is good.
Yeah, he negotiated 50% royalty with De Beers. Can you imagine that? 50%, and we're talking about 3%, Mr. Nagbe, 3% to 50% royalty.
50-50. Wow.
50-50. He's like, look, if you're going to come and take our diamonds, this is the deal. You take it or you leave it. De Beers took it. And we're talking about B Mountain. Is B Mountain bigger than De Beers? The biggest diamond company in the world?
Not even close. I mean, even if you were doing...
I mean, leader, we have to be bold. We have to be bold. Understand to know it. If we bold as leader, we help the country. The country is small. Why should we struggle? So now going in one part of the bros now, if the road breeding season times, so now you spend 3, 4, 5 days. Why? The country is small. Why?
Yeah, Boko. What Boko is doing for Botswana, man. If we can only replicate him. Yeah.
All right, thank you guys.
We got 6 more minutes today, Friday.
Today Friday we gotta leave. I know.
So, Victor, do
I
your
was trying
closing.
to go meet Honorable Benete, but
You gotta go shake his hand.
Mr. Nagbe told me, Jana said you gotta wait until maybe tomorrow. Now, don't go. But yeah, he said if the time for you to go, and I'm not there, it will mean that I'm not. All the parties I should be there before you come there. I said okay.
That's right. You got. Victor, go ahead. Do your
I will be on my way driving going there now.
You know, I told you yesterday, I think you're a very strategic political strategist, so I'm not going to argue with you. But tomorrow will be a better day. Will be the time we're having the formal program. So even we ourselves.
That late evening program?
It's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
We out?
I'm sorry?
We out?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Will there be any social ball that will drink some?
There'll be my wife says she will buy you drink. There'll be refreshment. You know, the food, there'll be food there. Yeah, we're having,
you're putting a teacup.
Yeah, we're putting a teacup. And we'll have bread there for you to soak in it.
All my man, and this teacup thing I got used to it because of my brother from the other side. They never going to see this battle. Yeah.
But that would be my closing. Thank you guys very much.
Go out of the tea call, the Coca-Cola can thing.
Yeah,
yeah. Start in the boy.
We put bread, the coca in the bread.
Yeah.
Fanta, please answer the question.
To be young and stupid, so now can be, just the bliss.
There's a question. There's a question in the comment section. The last question. Can somebody answer that? Who want to tackle that?
What's the question?
Look at the last comment in the.
Are you for who lives in Liberia? What?
I can say because I can say me.
What?
Well, what's the question? I don't see it.
The last one of you for
which one all live in Liberia? Someone want to be such an advocate.
Me.
You almost live there. You don't live there. You live here. You almost.
I'll be there again.
Ricky, by the way, Ricky, do you live in Liberia yourself? Ricky Young?
No, Ricky live in Alaska.
Yeah, but that'll be my closing, and thank you guys very much. Hope to be with you on Monday.
Excellent. Honorable Pewee, take us home.
Yeah, quickly. I mean, it was a great show. Myself getting ready for the Friday evening. We got kind of a pub not too far from us. It's gonna sit to that pub and just signing up. Is it that membership cup? The guy, the green.
I heard you telling for you to meet at your spot. I heard that when you.
Yeah, but our spot is far. I was just saying. Normally, the last one was there. He called. I invited him to come to the Uniboard program, but he didn't come. So it's a distance. No, I'm just driving like 10 minutes to my area. Yeah, it's a Friday. And normally, get my Uber and go and sit with Dead Deuce. And so we just going to keep the Friday going and look forward to seeing the political leader of one of the newest sheriff in town. And
we look forward to see you guys tomorrow too. Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I'm told all the CMC executive will be there and all the things. So we look forward to
it. Pretty much except for Jerome, who put in an excuse because he has a wedding engagement.
I got wedding Saturday. My younger sister, adopted sister, getting married in Palm Beach. It's going to be splendid.
Oh, okay.
Well, Palm Beach is going to be on fire next weekend. Man, I wish you guys were here. So
it's a place to be. I plenty of visited this summer.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Listen, the family will be glad.
I tried to go see him last summer, but it didn't work out. But I'll go down there.
You just one of my friends. Every year you come, you can't come.
It's just a little on our flight.
But Fanta, let Fanta close. I think.
Fanta is today. We got to leave early. We got 1 minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a great show today. I think the approach that Cassell is taking to this LFA situation is definitely the energy, the approach that we all need to have if we stand a chance at disrupting the system. We cannot constantly speak of disrupting the system when we continue to exercise the same methods. Our methodology have to change. We have to be more tactical. And then when they become sensible, then we can reconcile and to be sensible. But until then, they're going to continue to test us and see how far they can push the envelope. And so far, they have been pushing. They have been pushing even when we thought that They would not do the most impossible. They still did it, and continuing to push. Now they're coming after our speech. They're trying everything they can to censor us, and that's not going to happen. If we should not sit back and even allow that to happen. So at what point are we going to to push for the disruption of their system? It has to be now. We cannot postpone that any further. So we should all support Kasako. We should all affix our signatures to the B Mountain petition that is on change.org. It's called Blood Gold. Okay, because that's exactly what's been mined by B Mountain in Grand Cape Mount is blood gold. Is leaving our people dead, is leaving the environment compromised. Of all the toxic reports that have been generated by the EPA, fines have been put on them, and they have done everything to evade it. So we can no longer sit back and just say, oh, let's leverage the system. Leveraging the system in a sensible way doesn't work. So we have to be creative with our methods on how we achieve results. And so I think you guys had some really great suggestions today. I really want to thank Mr. Gayman, for being one of the first persons to raise his hand to help with this. I really appreciate your effort, Mr. Gayman, and your continued effort. I know we're just getting started. And the road ahead might be very, very long, but this is so necessary for the people of Liberia and the people of Grand Cape Mount County. And I want to just continue to call out to the people in Grand Cape Mount County, all of Liberia, friends of Liberia, in the diaspora, everywhere in the world. This is the time to act. Join the fight against B Mountain, against the exploitation of the resources of Liberia. We have to start flooding the inbox of Apple, start flooding the inbox of Starbucks, start flooding the inbox of NVIDIA, because this is where the gold that is mined in B Mountain is going. And until we do that, these people are not going to take us seriously. If we start with B Mountain and become successful here, we go into ArcelorMittal, the Firestones of the world, and so on and so forth. We can no longer allow this human rights violation and environmental terrorism to continue. So on that note, thank you all so much again. And until next week, have a good rest of your weekend.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is how we come to the end of this week. Today was a day of substance. Oh, yeah.
New topic. We're closing.
He's a Tony, everybody fled. This is great. Listen, now I have to be fair to Raji. Raji has done an excellent job over there. I visited the place, all the development he has done. I saw some of them. I got problem with the 3-turn. That's my only problem. I don't want anybody. I told Nyobli Kanga the same thing.
What kind of estimate, John? Well, we have not qualified.
I visited some of the things he has done.
Okay.
And I told the same thing to my sister, Nyobli Kanga. I can't support you for a 3rd term. The same thing with my friend that I campaigned for the last election, Matthew Joe, electoral district, Buchanan district. He ended his 2nd term. Now he wants to run for a 3rd term in 2029. And I told him I can't. 2 terms is enough.
So which district are you going for?
Huh?
Which district are you going for?
Which district I'm going for?
Yeah.
I don't know what you mean. Let me close.
No, you don't. I mean, which district are you going to be vying for this election?
Oh.
You.
Oh, I'm not vying for any.
Oh, I thought you were trying to get put your hat in the race.
Oh, no. I supported him, and now he came back and want to go for a 3rd term.
Sorry, now, will you contest for anything?
Oh, I'm not sure. You know what? Nobody know what 2029 holds. What 2029? So we'll leave it as that. But yes, anybody that wants to go for a 3rd term, please don't call me. If you didn't do it in 1 term, in the 2nd term, you are not going to do it in the 3rd term. So don't call me here. The only reason that I'm saying this is I know they're going to say, well, the Constitution does not bar me. I can do this. But when you and I were talking, you wanted my vote. I told you I wasn't going for 3rd term. You told me it was fine. Now that you got it, now you don't want to leave. And that's bad. So, guys, if you are in Liberia and you are going for your 2nd, now you want to go for your 3rd term, You don't do it by hook or by crook, but I'm not supporting you, whether you are my relative or not. It's not going to work. And for the BM Mountain thing, I'm calling all our friends, especially, those of you, the Cape Mount Association should be behind you 100%. It's a big organization. I went to school in Cape Mount, so they put me on the list. They sent me all the communication and everything else. I am a member of that organization. So I think that you should approach the organization. We should all rally around and make sure that this thing goes viral and that people are dying. Those children, you see their skin, it's crazy. But other than that, guys, let's do this again on Monday, God's willing. Thank you very much.